Hello, welcome back to Random News Beast, and today we're back with more Klutzy Cupid. I don't know if we're gonna finish it today or not, but hey, fun of the gamble. Who knows? Anyways, you know what? If you don't want to fucking open up, I guess I'll have to fucking do something else. I have to fucking resort to drastic measures. I have to resort to trends. I've had bubble tea before, and it's fine, but it's not as good as the one from an actual bubble tea shop. I just saw that the supermarket I worked at, for some reason, had like bubble tea in the same like aisle as the fresh strawberries. And thought, you know what, fuck it, let's try it. So here we are. Anyways, finally got to fuck the teacher. 5th period today was modern Japanese.
それでは教科書の12ページを開いてください。私が読んだ部分を続けて読み上げてください。草むらの中からはしばらく返事がなかった。忍び泣きかと思われる。
Nico, she really is cute, huh? The reason I couldn't stop staring was most likely because I'd written her name in the love note. Nikoshi was young and attractive, but while her face retained a certain amount of youthful innocence, there was also a certain allure to it. It's not difficult to see why some students had genuinely fallen for her. I've been in love with a familiar older woman. In a lot of ways, that was a dream scenario for a young man.
つむちゃん。つむちゃんってば。
Huh?
あれ
Ah!
授業中にぼんやりしてちゃダメですよ。
Sensei? She gave a few pokes on the She gave me a few pokes on the forehead. The touch of her slender fingers tickled.
ちゃんと授業を聞いていてくださいね。
Yes, I'm sorry.
よろしい？じゃあ授業を続けますね。
She walked back to the front of the class. My forehead felt a little warm when she poked me.
私いっぱい読んだんだよ。先生が来てるの教えようと思って。
Sorry, I was spacing out. I hurriedly flipped to the page Minakoshi was reading aloud from, and my thoughts were still far away. Seriously, Minakoshi, she was cute. I don't know what it'd feel like being pampered by an older woman. As I tried to imagine it, I felt a wave of peacefulness wash over me. Having lost my mother at such an early age, I'd never had much experience with adult women. It was Kino, of course, but she didn't really feel that much older. I wonder if those rumors about Minakoshi being single were actually true. Wouldn't be strange for her to have a boyfriend considering how charming she was. Maybe I'll try to do some digging. Working a fairy tale after dinner. Dinner shift, the number of customers were beginning to dwindle. It was just about time for me to take a break too, so I quickly made up my mind. Pardon me?
Oh, Tsumugu, どうした?
Do you have a minute, Kina? There's something I want to talk about.
あ? なんだよ、時給ならあげねえぞ。
Nah, it's not that.
なんだ? また可愛い女の子でも見つけてきたのか? 最近お前の周り華やかだからな。次はどんな美少女なんだ?
I'm not here to introduce you to another candidate either. I just had a question I wanted to ask. He was right about the fact that it had to do with women, though. You said before that you used to be classmates with Minakoshi back when you were at Konohana Academy together, right?
ああ、前に琴ひなが来た時、そんな話をしたことがあったな。確かに今でも仲がいいけど、同級生ってことまでよく覚えてたな。
Well, someone wanted to ask you about her.
聞きたいこと?
I decided to get straight to the point. Minakoshi is pretty popular around school, you see. But even though she's cute and adored by guys, rumor is that she's single. Do you know if that's true? Kino?
お前もしかして琴ひなのことを
Huh? No, that's not it! I panicked and denied it. I wasn't even sure about my own feelings yet, so I didn't want to cause any misunderstandings. I just have this classmate who has a crush on her, see, and he asked me if I know someone who might know if he had a boyfriend, so... Kino gave me a skeptical look. She didn't buy it at all.
恋人いないのは確かだけどな
I see. Felt slightly relieved. If Kino said so, then it had to be the
で
truth.
ももし万が一琴ひなの恋人になりたいなんて思ってるやつがいるなら私から言えることはただ一つ諦めろ
Those were words of warning. Almost seemed as if they were directed towards me. Charge accepted, motherfucker. Oh, by the way, I watched like the first episode of Shangri-La Frontier yesterday. Let's just say, there's a reason why I started this part at like 11 p.m. Actually, more like fucking a quarter past 11 p.m. I'm all caught up with the manga now. I like the MC. The MC is a little shit. It's great. After work, I made my way home. On the way back, I thought about my conversation with Kino. What do you mean, give it up? I persisted. I knew this would only lead to more misunderstandings, but I couldn't stop myself. But here's the thing. If she said this, I would ask what it's about just out of sheer curiosity. Like, give it up. That's fucking weird. What do you fucking mean by that? Like...
あいつには恋愛よりも大切なことがあるんだよ
That was all Kino was willing to tell me. What was more important to her than love? Idiot, probably. No matter how much I thought about it, I couldn't come up with any answers. Yeah, that one. Huh? Thought I heard someone instinctively calling my name. Apparently I wasn't hallucinating after all. But the voice came clearer now. It's unmistakably Love Meals. With a thump, Love Meal descended from the sky, landing on the ground in front of me. What's your hurry? In her angel form, no one was able to see Love Meal aside from me. And so that meant I looked like a crazy person by talking to her outside like this. I'd like to avoid any unnecessary conversation as much as possible, but... What? She was wearing a solemn expression. I gulped, expecting some sort of serious discussion. It's not. However... That's your big revelation! Couldn't help but exclaim loudly. A woman walking a little ways away jumped at the sound of me shouting. Probably thought I was some raving lunatic. The moment our eyes met, she gave me a frightened look and scurried off. I know that. Great, now my reputation around here has gotten even worse. That's the feeling I've been getting ever since Love Meal arrived in town. Looks like it's all clear for now, so hurry up and make yourself visible. The flash of light, Love Meal's entire appearance changed. Incidentally, Black Basket was a serialization in Japan's #1 selling weekly magazine. It was an extremely popular basketball manga that sold nearly 1 million copies per volume. So yeah, Black Basket is clearly supposed to be a reference to Kuroko no Basket. Now that you mention it, I guess it's coming out today. We can go to this bookstore on the way home from school tomorrow or something. Maybe, but come on, I'm tired from work. You can just go by yourself, can't you? You should know where the bookstore is. Money. Huh? I can just read in the bookstore as long as you're in angel form. Nobody would be able to catch you.
天使に立ち読みさせる気ですか？お布施をするのはファンの義務なんですよ。だから私のために買ってほしいにゃ。
What the hell was that?
可愛くおねだりすれば男性はイチコロだって漫画で学びました。
What kind of old-fashioned thinking is that? That depends on the time and place. At the guy.
それは効果絶大ってことですか？
You're an optimistic one, aren't you? I heaved a large sigh. Well, whatever, I was planning on buying it
本
anyway.
当ですか？ありがとうございます。実はつむぐさんの部屋でまとめて読んだ漫画ですし、そうなると思っていました。
In other words, she'd planned this from the start. Felt like she had me dancing in the palm of her hand. Guess it doesn't feel too bad seeing her so happy, though.
それでは早速本屋さんに向かいましょう。やっぱり赤井さんがいいキャラしてますよね、ブラバスは。
Really? I thought Kuroto was way cooler when he stepped up to the plate. Yeah, there we go. Kuroko the
そ
basket.
の活躍を支えているのは赤井さんなんですよ。分かってませんね。
Big talk for someone who reads my manga without my permission. Still, though, I think I'd be walking through town at night alone with a girl. A while ago, I would have imagined myself doing something like this. So this was just Dale we were talking about. All we were doing was chatting about manga anyway. As it was brooding, we arrived at the bookstore.
売り切れてないですかね、ブラバス。特典ペーパーが売り切れてたら一大事ですよ。この時間に空いてる他の本屋さんを巡らないと。
If it comes to that, I'm out. You're on your own.
なんでですか？この本屋さんに残ってますように。いざ。
Hey, watch out! The bookstore's entrance was rather narrow, but Ale dashed straight towards it. I called out to warn her, but it was a bit too late. She immediately ran at the woman coming out of the store. The paper bag the woman was holding dropped onto the ground. Ignoring Ale, who'd fallen flat on her bum like she deserved, I went to pick up the woman's belongings. You're right, I'm sorry about my friend, she's...
こちらこそちゃんと前を見ていなくて。あら？
The person Ale had bumped into was none other than the woman who had been on my mind all day. Our homeroom teacher was Minakoshi.
奇遇ですね、先生。こんばんは。
Ale was already back on her feet like nothing
こん
happened.
ばんは。佐久間くんに小泉さん。あなたたちどうしてこんな時間に2人で？
Oh,
ブラバスの新刊を買いに来たんです。私もつむぐさんもブラバスの大ファンなので。
though in reality, of course, she was here to make me buy it for her.
さすが超人気作だけあるわね。
は？
実は私もブラバスを買いにこの書店へ来たのよ。特典ペーパーがつくの近所だとこの書店だけだから。
I see. Like she's been hunting around for the special edition, same as Ale.
先生、漫画とか読むんですね。
Don't expect that either.
そんなに驚かれるとちょっと恥ずかしいわね。実はこの漫画、先生が学生の頃に連載が始まったの。本当ですか？ブラバス仲間だなんて嬉しすぎます。先生はブラバスのキャラで誰が好きですか？
Boy.
つむぐさんは主人公のクロトがいいって言うんですけど、私はクロトを部活に誘った赤井さんの方がいいと思うんです。そう、小泉さんは赤井さん派なのね。その微妙な反応、先生は違うんですか？私はクロトたちのライバル校、栄光のエースの緑様派なの。
Summer, huh?
赤井さんのライバルの緑様ですか。さすが先生です。いいところをついてきますね。
Two of them grew increasingly animated the more they talked about Black Basket. Though I'd read it too, it was kind of hard for me to join the conversation when the discussion revolved around which male characters they liked. Still, it was a definite surprise to see Sensei chatting about shonen manga with so much enthusiasm. I'd always pictured her reading fashion magazines because of about knitting and sewing and other girly things like that. Instead, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Come on, don't typecast her that hard.
先生やりますね。ブラバスだけじゃなくてフィルエースの話にもついてくるとは。
Before I realized it, they'd already moved on to talking about another manga
小泉
series.
さんもなかなかのものね。若いのに大したものだわ。
The moment they spoke almost made it seem like an exchange between two swordsmen as they clashed blades together. It's kind of bizarre. It wasn't unusual for me to read these mangas since they were intended for guys my age. Both Ale and Minakoshi seemed almost a little too passionate about them. Just how much shonen manga did they read? You're familiar with this stuff, Sensei. Thought I was an avid reader, but I never thought you'd know so much about manga.
それは恥ずかしいけれど、実は漫画結構読んでいるのよ。
She replied
よ
shyly.
く読み始めたのはあなたたちくらいの頃からなんだけどね。友達に紹介されていろいろ読むようになって。
Okay, so my previous estimate is wrong, actually. At the end of Ale's route, Eddie is like at the lowest, like 26, probably. So yeah, that's yikes. Like, that's a low estimate, even. It's probably like fucking 28 or something. For an instant, a small sad expression passed across her face.
恥ずかしくなんてないですよ。え？漫画って元気をもらえますもんね。私も大好きなんです。友情、努力、勝利ですよ。そうね。昔友達も似たようなことを言っていたわ。なんだか急に思い出しちゃった。だけど原告の先生としてはちょっと変かしら。難しくて分厚い小説を読んでいた方がイメージに合うでしょ。
That's not true. I think it's pretty cool to know that you share the same interests, actually. What?
いえいえ、ただ良かったですねと思いまして。
She smirked. Looks like we'll have to give her another noogie later.
ちなみに小泉さんはどうしてブラバスを知っているの？さっき話していた少年漫画ってどれも相当な関数が出ているのに。
Uh-oh.
私はつむぐさんの家でいろんな漫画を読ませてもらってます。
Ale blurted out without a single hesitation, without the slightest
佐
hesitation.
久間くんの家で？
Blushing a little, Minakoshi turned to look at me. Oi, Ale.
なるほど。それで少年漫画に詳しくなったのね。二人がそういう仲だったなんて知らなかったわ。そういう仲って。
A look of panic appeared on Ale's face. This idiot. It was clear Ale's remark had caused a misunderstanding just now. Her words had made it sound like she'd been staying over at my house long enough to read through dozens of volumes of manga. Wait, Sensei, Ale and I aren't like that.
いいのよ。そんな風にごまかす必要なんてないわ。
Huh?
小泉さんは海外からの急な転校でしょ。だからこの町の生活に馴染めているか心配していたの。
True, she had said the same thing yesterday
でも
too.
こうして二人が仲良くなっているみたいで安心したわ。
No, wait. Crap, she wasn't listening.
先生から言えることはそうね、学生らしく健全なお付き合いをすることくらいかしら。
The way she giggled was adorable, but still. We're not like that! We just happened to run into each other earlier after work.
そうなの？
Since we were both headed to the bookstore, we decided to walk here together. Well, we're not dating or anything.
そうですそうです。私とつむぐさんはただの友達ですよ。つむぐさんなんかと誤解されたら困っちゃいますよ。ねえ。
You really need to learn when to close your mouth.
そうですか？十分仲がいいと思うけれど、そういうことにしておくわね。
I'm glad to clear that up. We did clear it up, right?
じゃあ買い物を終えたらすぐに帰ること。そのお泊まりとかはダメよ。まだ学生なんだから。
We won't, we're just friends.
そうよね。それじゃあ。 また学園で。
You too, sensei.
また明日。また明日。
After saying goodbye, Ayla and I purchased our manga from the bookstore, then immediately headed straight home like Minakoshi had instructed.
俺のキューピッドがポンコツすぎて怖い。おはよう
We
ござい
back
ま
to
す。
skipping. I'm trying to.
次の選択肢までスキップ。次の選択肢まで飛んだ
Whose
ぞ。
name? I wonder. Maybe I'll try writing Minakoshi's name. Kino had warned me to give up on her, but I just couldn't get sense out of my mind. Perhaps I had a thing for slightly older women. Yes. No, as someone who grew up without a mother, I never had much experience with them. And since I rarely even had opportunities to talk to older women, it'd probably take a miracle for me to become lovers with one. But the way Minakoshi had chatted with Lovemeal about manga made her seem so innocent and much more relatable than most. Struck me again just how cute she was. Seeing as we shared an interest in manga, we'd have lots to talk about too. Maybe I did have a shot with her. I was starting to see a way forward. However...
でも、もし万が一、琴ひなの恋人になりたいなんて思ってるやつがいるなら、
You just have to observe how it fucking increases. Like, yes, faithfulness is at 10, but if it can't be increased, there is a chance.
私から言えることはただ一つ。諦めろ。だ。あいつには恋愛よりも大切なことがあるんだよ。
Something more important than romance, huh? Don't tell me she is the type of woman who preferred 2D guys. That was true. I wonder what chances of success actually were. I know. Despite these doubts, I wrote down Minakoshi's name in the love note nonetheless. Yeah, done.
見せてください。おお、琴ひな先生じゃないですか。
A smile spread across Lovemeal's face like a blooming flower.
いい人ですよね、琴ひな先生。可愛いし、授業もわかりやすいし、優しいし。何より、私と同じく漫画好きですし。
She emphasized that last part as if it were her best quality. So that's what you like about her.
とてもいい選択だと思いますよ。ぜひつむぐさんは先生と結ばれるべきかと。
Don't tell me you're only saying that so you can read the manga at her house.
何のことですか？
Unbelievable. This girl was utterly shameless. Well, what does the love note say?
運命度上がってますよ。
It has?
峰越琴ひな運命度30先生の関係者との親交を深めてみよう
Didn't it start at 10? Hold on, now I feel like I need to check this.
しっかりセーブしてやったぞ。
Previous selection.
前の選択肢まで戻ってきたわ。
前の選択
肢まで戻れたわ。
Nah, 15.
このデータをしっかり読み込めたわ。
So 15 increase.
運命度
30, huh?
30
That's still kind of low, isn't
低い
it?
のは低いですけれど、上がっているのはいい傾向です。このままラブノート通りに頑張れば、きっとどんどん上がっていきますよ。
Still, the cluster is pretty vague. The only person I could think of who fit that description was Kino. But seeing as how she'd kind of given me the cold shoulder, I doubt she wanted to discuss the matter with me any further. There has to be someone else who's close to Sensei, though. For the time being, it looked like I had no other choice but to search for such a
と
person.
もかく、これからも頑張っていきましょう。
No, she clearly had her own interests in mind. Love Mill was at least full of motivation.
俺のキューピッドがポンコツすぎて怖
Why do
い。
you give me such a look? As if I was a common animal.
いらっしゃいませ。次の選択肢までひとっ飛び。
Minakoshi. Guess I'll try writing Minakoshi's name. There then. Jotted down her name in a notebook and handed the love meal.
あ、先生の名前ですね。
Yeah. Same time, the last time I'd written her name in the love note, it advised me to deepen my relationship with those who were close to her. That end, I don't get the feeling I've made much progress, but...
峰越琴ひな運命度30先生のか
前から何も変わってないですね。
guess not. I was expecting it, but I still felt a little disappointed. After seeing this, I realized I wanted to know more about Mikoshi. After all, it was really cute the way they chatted so innocently about the manga last time.
今日はこんなところにしておきましょうか。
Yeah. A short while after that, we decided it was time for bed.
俺のキューピッドがポン
Why
コ
does
ツすぎて
everyone look at me
怖い
like I'm some fucking freak show right now?
次の選択肢まで
No.
次の選択肢まで一たち
Just to be clear, we aren't dating. Skip.
いざとなったら私を守ってね。
Huh?
ほら、ブラバスの最新回にあったでしょ、このセリフ。そんな風にキョトンとされたら恥ずかしいわ。
Oh, right. I'm sorry. For a moment there, my heart skipped a beat.
職員室に着いたわね。
Skip. Nothing has happened.
次の選択肢まで次の選択肢までジャン
What an array. Not a light strike array, though. Ha 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 ha. 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 Ha. Apparently here I'm supposed to go with Kururu, Kinu, Masora, and then Kotohina. So...
佐久間先輩。
Was it first Kino or first Masora? First Kino, then Masora. Kino. Skip. Apparently nothing changed even though we were trying to bang her friend. Masora has also no changes. Sensei?
あら、佐久間くん、どうしたの？
I noticed Kino's been pouring you a lot of alcohol, so I was just wondering if you were doing alright.
もしかして私、顔が赤くなったりしてるかしら。
Nah, nothing like that.
それならよかったわ。自分の生徒に酔っ払った顔を見せるのはちょっと恥ずかしいものね。
Do not drink very often, Sensei.
お酒は飲めないわけじゃないし嫌いでもないわ。でも一人で飲んだりはしないわね。
So we drink at get-togethers and stuff.
付き合いで多少はね。翌日に残って授業に支障が出ると困るからそれほどは飲まないわ。
琴ひな、お前は本当に真面目だな。もしもの時は休めばいい。そのために有給が存在するんだ。
Yeah, I know about that. Only a drink would say something like that.
学園っていうのはそんなに簡単に取れないのよ。生徒たちの授業も遅れてしまうんだから。
そうは言ってもお前、翌日が日曜日でもそんなに飲まないだろうが。
休日は休日でいろいろやることがあるもの。二日酔いで翌日を無駄にするのはどうかと思うのよね。
だからお前は真面目と言ってるんだ。
Mikoshi yelped as Kino gave her a flick to the forehead.
キヌが不真面目すぎるのよ。
Unlike the way she acted at school, Mikoshi seemed somehow more innocent tonight. Somehow I felt a tiny bit closer to her.
それはそうと、佐久間くん。
Yes?
私のことを気遣ってくれてありがとう。
She gave me an adorable smile along with those words, but not at all. My heart began to beat a little faster, and I felt my own face turning red.
ごちそうになってば、いや、
次の選択肢まで進めました。
I chose precisely one choice towards Kururu. And she's here. How easy is she? What? I mean, then again, I think you can't actually write her in the love note ever. Oh yeah, you actually can't ever write her the love note. The only option that'll lead you down Kururu's route is actually just talking to Kururu here, and then just going for it, essentially. Anyways, guess I'll go with Minakoshi. She's mature, kind of a little airheaded. Started Kotohina's-Route. The name that suddenly came into mind was hers, after all. A soft and gentle smile appeared in my mind. She had this aura of maturity about her that made you feel like she could kindly accept anything. Yet when she chatted with Ale that night about her love of manga, she also displayed an adorable childish charm. At the same time, the way she'd scolded Kino for drinking so much at the welcome party tonight felt equally fitting as well. Like how a responsible, dignified adult should act. Although normally demure and a little airheaded, there was no denying that Minakoshi was a fully grown woman. Once again, I was reminded of just how attractive she was tonight. Which is why it wouldn't stop bothering me. What Kino had told me that one time. What was it she said? That Minakoshi had some... What was it she said? What was it she said? Minakoshi had something more important to her than romance? But what could that be? What was that sensei was keeping a secret? Couldn't help but want to know.
ちょっとつむぐさんつむぐさん
Huh? Oh, sorry. I completely forgotten about Ale.
いくらなんでも深刻な顔しすぎですよ。まさかまだ一人に絞れないなんて言うつもりじゃ。
Have a little faith. Look, I already wrote a name. Showed her the notebook.
おお、琴雛先生に決めましたか。
You don't need to shout. Although no one else could hear her, I was still embarrassed hearing her shout Sensei's name like that.
いやー、わかりますわかりますよ。琴雛先生は全男子生徒の憧れの的ですからね。だからこそ自分が独り占めしてしまいたい。いいじゃないですか、その欲望。せっかくラブノートがあるんですから存分に叶えちゃいましょう。
Glad you're enthusiastic about this at least. But so far I haven't really made any progress with her at all.
前回のことですか?
Last time I'd written her name on the love note, its device had been to try deepening my relationship with those close to her. When it came to those close to her, however, the only person that came to mind was Kino. But ever since then, I haven't really deepened my relationship with my boss either.
でも、さっきの歓迎会で距離は縮められたと思いますし、前回から時間も結構経ってるんで、今なら変わってるかもしれないですよ。
Yeah, maybe. Feeling slightly hopeful, I looked down at the notebook.
峰越琴雛運命度32
An increase of 2, huh?
進路相談をしてみたら何か得られるものがあるかも。
Ah, its advice is different this time. Plus our faith limits have gone up a tiny bit as well.
気づかぬうちに近づけていたってことですよ。よかったですね、一歩先に進めて。にしても進路相談ですか。これまた先生と生徒あるあるの展開ですが。
Come to think of it, they did start handing out those career surveys a little while ago. Fortunately, in a manner of speaking, mine was still blank. Wasn't that I'd forgotten to fill it out? Was that I had nothing to write? In short, I had no idea what I wanted to do after graduation. You're right, this would be a perfect opportunity to ask Minakoshi about why she became a teacher and stuff. I suddenly have a bit of a prediction, let's say. He'll become a doctor. And here's the thing. It won't just fit with, become a doctor to help Eri, because that's most likely the thing that's more important to her than romance right now. It also fits with his backstory, because of his leg. That could be motivation for him to want to become a doctor, so he can make sure as few people as possible suffer from similar injuries and shit like that. If one thing led to another, the distance between us might just shrink even more. Alright, no point in wasting any more time. I'll try giving a shot tomorrow.
私も応援してますね。人払いはお任せください。
I'd appreciate if you could just clear out yourself, actually.
はい。なんですそれ。
I mean, sit back and let me handle this on my own.
俺のキューピッドがポンコツすぎて怖い。連絡事項は以上です。それでは皆さん、また明日。
Gloucester began to bustle with noise as everyone stood up from their seats. While I'd been waiting for the right time to approach Minakoshi, the day had ended before I knew it. I could feel Aile's eyes on me, urging me to hurry up already, too. I know, sheesh. This is my last chance today, anyway. Come on, just pluck up the courage and do it. Minakoshi, do you have a minute?
はい。あら、佐久間くん？
Coming to a stop, she turned around and gave me a warm
どうした
smile.
の？何か提出するものでもあった？
That's not it. Crap, even though I'd managed to call out, or I couldn't bring myself to look her in the eye. Perhaps because I'd awakened to my feelings for her, since they seemed several times more beautiful than usual. Has she always been this stuff?
佐久間くん？何か用があるんじゃないの？
Yep, sorry. Yes, there is. Actually, I'm having a lot of trouble filling out the career survey we got a little while ago. And
あらあら。あれはあくまで希望調査だから、今は深く考えなくてもいいのよ。
Okay, now we're down to just the fucking bulbous, aka now it'll just be like fucking bullets speeding towards the back of my throat if I'm not careful. That is not working out. I know, but I was thinking that this was a good opportunity to put some actual thought into what I want to do. So that be the case. It's not too much trouble. I was hoping I could give you some career counseling. I'm sorry. Guess you're really busy after all.
全然オッケーよ。
But of course, she beamed at me with a radiant smile. In fact, her face was way too close. She smelled amazing, too.
そうなのね。私に進路相談がしたいのね。大丈夫よ。先生なんだからいつでも話は聞くわ。早速今日する？明日にする？明日の朝にする？
Like to do it today if possible. She seemed awfully enthusiastic about this.
でもごめんなさい。実は今から職員会議が入ってて、今日にするなら少し待ってもらうことになるわ。指導室の鍵開けておくから。悪いけど会議終わるまで待っててくれる？
Sure, that's no problem.
それじゃ
また後でね。
Ah, yes, the primal urge to slurp frog eggs through a reed. With that, she walked off with a skip and a step. Apparently she was overjoyed that one of her students depended on her. Incidentally, however... What are you snickering about to yourself over there?
微笑ましく見守っていたと言ってほしいですね。しかしよかったですね。あんなに接近されて。
So you were laughing at me!
いい匂いでした？
Well, of course she... That's not the point!
冗談ですよ。とにかくよかったですね。無事相談できそうで。でも夕方までには終わらせてくださいね。今晩は2人ともバイト入ってるんですから。
Oh, yeah, right. I'm sure our counseling session is going to take that long.
私教室で待ってますから、終わったら迎えに来てください。それまでちゃんと人払いしてますから。
Just try not to cause me any problems.
おーい、つむぐ、一緒に帰ろうよ。というわけで、たっぷりどっぷり楽しんできてくださいね。琴ひな先生と2人で。それじゃあまた後ほど。あ、マソラさん、実はつむぐさんが年上に目覚めて。
I'll have to remember to get her back for that one later. Hello, Minakoshi, huh? Crap, now I'm getting nervous.
遅くなってごめんなさい。待たせちゃったかしら。
No, it's alright. I was just reading in the meantime. Slightly on the one restless hour later, Minakoshi opened the door to the counseling office, wearing her usual gentle smile. Paying my nervousness no heed, she sat down with leisure and grace. Sensei and I were alone at the counseling office. The more I thought about it, the harder my heart began to throb.
佐久間くん、どうかしたの？顔が赤いわよ。
No, I think you're just imagining things.
もしかして佐久間くん、進路相談とは別の目的があったりして。実は恋愛相談をしに来たとか？
That's not... Well, she wasn't exactly wrong.
冗談よ。ごめんなさい、からかったりして。佐久間くんみたいな真面目な子が変に浮かれたりするはずないものね。
Felt a little indignant hearing her say that. I mean, I'm a young man too. There are times when I feel like fooling around as well. Like right now, for example.
え？今？
Being together with a beautiful woman like you. Oh, it's enough to make any guy's hearts race. Bless. After staring blankly at me for a few moments, she nearly leapt out of her seat.
佐久間くん？あなた何を言い出すの？美人って二人きりって。しかもドキドキしてる。それどういうこと？あなたもしかして。
Was it me or was she panicking like a little too much? I'm sorry, Sensei. Please calm down. I was just payback for you teasing me earlier.
お返しって。もう本気でびっくりしたじゃない。
I'm one who'd be saying that. Feeling a little rebellious, I tried to tease her back, but I hadn't expected such an adorable reaction. I thought for sure Minakoshi was used to being called beautiful on a regular basis, but maybe that wasn't the case.
佐久間くんは進路相談に来たのよね。
Yes, that's right.
それじゃそろそろ本題に入りましょうか。
Yes, ma'am. Straightening up in my seat, I gave her a nod of the head.
それでどういうことで悩んでいるの？卒業後の進路がイメージできないとか？
That's exactly it. I don't really know what my plans are after graduation. It's not real. There's nothing really in particular that I want to do or want to become. So, well, getting to the real reason I was here today. I was hoping you could tell me what made you want to become a teacher, Sensei.
私？
I was curious about how the adults around me chose the path they wanted to take, you see. I thought that maybe that might help me make my own decision. Though to be perfectly honest, I couldn't care less about other adults. The only person I was interested in was Minikoshi. I wanted to know more about her, and I wanted to be able to talk to her more. Even without the Love Note's advice, that's how I truly felt. After talking to her alone like this, I once again realized something. I really did admire this woman after all. As that thought crossed my mind, Sensei slowly opened her mouth.
私の話は参考にならないわよ。
Huh? After a fleeting moment, I caught sight of a dark shadow passing across her smiling face. She wasn't being humble. The words directed at me were clearly a flat-out rejection.
私は前向きな理由で教師になったんじゃないの。だから私の話をしても佐久間くんの力にはなれないわ。
As fucking Sakuma just leaned fucking what's the fucking first name again? Tsumugu. Thank you. Forgot for a second. Tsumugu just leans back like, oh no, my mom is dead and my dad is somewhere in America fucking random women while me and my sister have to take care of the house on our own and earn and while he does give us some money, I still have to work in order for us to properly be able to eat. I think my situation isn't entirely positive either. Maybe a negative example will help me if anything.
それでも聞きたい？
It's alright with you, Sensei? For a moment I thought you were really turning me down. I wonder why she'd hesitate so much just now.
ごめんね、変な間を作っちゃって。もう一度言うけれど参考にはならないからね。
Again, the man has a dead mom and a deadbeat dad. I'll say that for myself once I've heard everything, if that's okay. Nikoshi smiled wryly at my response. After exhaling softly, she slowly opened her mouth.
友達のためなのよ。もう何年も話していない。遠くへ行ってしまった友達。その子のために私は教鞭を取り続けているの。ちょうど今の佐久間くんくらいの頃かしら。当時の私は引っ込み思案な性格でね。自分で言うのもなんだけど、とても物静かな子だったの。今でこそ教師として人前で話せるけど、昔はまともに喋ることすらできなかったくらいよ。
That's surprising. I'm having a hard time even imagining that.
正直、私が一番驚いているくらいだもの。だから、私をここまで変えてくれた彼女には、感謝してもし足りないくらいなの。
This friend of yours.
天木エリって言うんだけどね。佐久間くんにも伝わりやすいように言えば、小泉さんにとてもそっくりな子なの。雰囲気も喋り方も漫画が好きなことも、小泉さんと初めて会った時も思わず影を重ねてしまったほどだわ。そんなこといけないのにね。エリと出会ってから私の学園生活は変わったわ。初めは自由気ままなエリの性格に振り回されてばかりだったけれど、楽しいことがあると いつも私の手を引いてくれて、臆病な私にいろいろな世界を見せてくれて。エリはね、教師になるのが夢だったの。
Secret double teacher route game? Eddie was a stealth teacher. Oh my god.
Actually, hold on. I can close this now. I don't know why I dragged that out so much, but alas, I did, so, yeah, here we are. Clover is currently winning in the poll, no surprise there. Why is Too Hard 2 continuously getting fucked in the ass?
漫画の世界にあるような楽しい学校を作りたいっていつも言っていたわ。今でも覚えてる。楽しそうに夢を語っていた私もそんなエリの夢を応援したくて、いつも勉強に付き合ったりしていたの。とても楽しくてかけがえのない時間だった。あの日も、私の誕生日の日も楽しくエリと過ごすはずだった。私の誕生日会のために私の家へ来てくれることになっていたの。でもその途中でエリは事故に遭ってしまった。私が駆けつけた頃にはもう遅かった。エリは脳に損傷を負ってもう目覚めることが難しい体になってしまった。そうして今もまだ眠り続けているの。
Actually, now I'm curious, hold on. I mean, they did specifically use the phrasing coma, so clearly brain death hasn't happened yet. So, should still be alright. Like, as long as they consider it just a coma, there clearly is still a chance for recovery. If there was literally zero chance for recovery, it'd be brain death, probably. So then the reason you became a teacher was in order to live out your friend's dream for her.
そんな綺麗な理由じゃないわ。ただの罪滅ぼしよ。
Atoning?
エリが事故に遭ってしまったのは、あの日彼女を呼び出した私のせいなの。私がエリを誕生日会に呼ばなければこんなことにはならなかった。私はエリの分までエリのしたかったことを 成し遂げる必要があるの。奪ってしまったエリの夢を私が責任を持って成し遂げなければいけないの。教師として。参考にならないって言ったのはそういう理由。ごめんね、締めっぽくしちゃって。
No, don't apologize. Minokoshi tried her best to smile brightly, but stifled pain behind that expression was all too evident.
せっかく相談に来てくれたのにだいぶ話がそれちゃったわね。ごめんなさい。
Not at all. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
また困ったら声をかけてちょうだい。次こそはちゃんと参考になるような話をするわ。
Honest to God, like, you could probably corner her in this situation. Like, that is absurd. Why would you be at fault? Let's make a fucking thought experiment. As you know, I live alone with my sister. Let's consider the following situation. My sister decides that we've run out of groceries and asks me to go out and buy new groceries. I go out and an accident happens, killing me. Would the blood be on my sister's hands? I know this won't fix the situation, but you gotta at least make it clear she is not as much at fault as she thinks she is. Like, yes, she might still blame herself, but even just saying that might at least, like, put the tiniest of tiny cracks into this. Of course, I'll be counting on you.
それじゃ気をつけて帰ってね。
Oh, right, it's about that time. Almost forgot Ailsa said she'd be waiting in the classroom for me. If I didn't go and get her, she'd give me another earful about it later.
小泉さんなら私も挨拶していこうかしら。
Sure, by all means. You there, Ale? Finished with our... I don't know what I expected. What happened to clearing out the room?
待たせすぎちゃったかしら。
Nah, nobody asked her to come. And nobody asked her to wait, don't worry about it. Oi, wake up! Better get ready soon or we're gonna be late for work.
琴ひな先生、いい匂い。
Every time she talked in her sleep, it sounded like something an old man might say. And of course she gazed at Ale with a complicated expression. She said that Ale reminded her greatly of her friend, hadn't she? Perhaps even now, it was as though she were looking at an echo of her. I don't think you should think too deeply about it.
Huh?
I just meant after what you told me earlier, it might seem to me like you were overthinking things. It seemed to me like you were overthinking things, Sensei. I obviously don't know much about this Eriamaki person, but I don't think she'd want you to take on the burden of shouldering her dreams for her.
佐久間くん、あなたがあの子の気持ちを代弁しないでほしいわ。
Alright, I'm sorry. In that case, allow me to speak for myself. I wish you wouldn't keep holding on to this, Sensei. Speaking as your student, I don't think you should be letting your personal circumstances influence your teaching. It troubles me that you're motivated. It troubles me that that's your motivation to be an educator. Crap, what the hell did I just say? It definitely went too far. I'm sorry, I'm not saying I blame you or anything, Sensei. That's not what I meant by...
つむぐさん。
小泉さん。
I don't know whether to call it a good time or bad time, but I'll definitely be out there. Came to get you. Come on, we'd better get going.
寝ないのでおぶってくれません？
In your dreams, idiot. Anyway, we'll be going now, Sensei. I'm sorry for stepping out of line back there.
いいのよ。 しなくて、むしろ心配してくれて。
What was that, Sensei?
なんでもないわ。二人とも気をつけて帰ってね。
Everyone, goodbye.
先生、バイバイ。
Why did I say that? Another day at work came and went. As we were getting ready to go home, I heaved the umpteenth sigh that evening.
ずいぶん強気な発言してましたね。先生に
You were
ません
awake!
でしたよ。
You're not wrong.
でも気まずい空気にならなくてよかったじゃないですか。いいタイミングで目覚めた私に感謝してくださいね。
Mary Hale had already been awake by the time we entered the classroom. She had only been pretending to be asleep so she could eavesdrop on our conversation, waiting for the right moment to wake up. Although she was normally an airhead, she could also be strangely cunning at times. So this Eriamaki person. I thought back on the story Sensei told me in the guidance office. Kino once told me that Minakoshi had something more important to her than romance. Guess that's what she was talking about.
先生の恩人さんでしたっけ？
I told Ale everything that Sensei had told me. I felt a little guilty sharing Sensei's private matters, but I thought it was something Ale needed to know.
天木エリさんですか。
What? Something on your mind?
いえ、別に恩人さんのために教師になったったなんて琴ひな先生らしいなって思っただけです。
Yeah, now that I know the situation, I feel like I get why Kino warned me to give her up on her.
私がなんだって？
That!
When did you get here, Kino?
実は最初からいたぞ。
What, seriously?
嘘だ。今来た。
Damn it, I nearly had a heart attack.
琴ひなの話をしてたようだな。聞いたのか？あいつの話。
Yeah, she mentioned it when I went to her for career counseling today.
ほう。珍しいこともあったもんだな。あいつが身の上話を。それも教え子にするなんて。珍しいと言いますと？あいつも教師なんだ。教え子に暗い話をして自分の心象を悪くしたいとは思わんだろう。
Again, if I was the MC in this situation, now depressing but smashing. My mom is dead, my dad is a fuckboy. Listen, I will still somehow just randomly fucking nuke a conversation where if the conversation is just essentially died down by talking about that one girlfriend I had fucking several years ago that died in a car crash just because it immediately kills the conversation sometimes. And it's a case of I can do that because I have gotten over it. People are always immediately oh my god, I'm so fucking sorry about that. But no, you don't gotta be. The reason why I am able to talk this openly about it is because I've dealt with it, I've overcome it, and I'm not affected by it anymore. It happened. I had to deal with it, how that affected me, but it's in the past now.
いや、教え子どころか、今まで誰にも打ち明けることはなかったんだがな。
In fact, I don't want any kind of oh, so sorry for you messages in the comments below. I've heard those enough. On a separate note, the video that I recorded 2 days ago where I told people that I forgot to record
Someone already was like in the comments like, oh, like don't worry, your well-being is more important. Don't stress out. And I just sit there like, you clearly did not listen to the video. I didn't. It's not that I didn't record because I was stressed out. I just fucking forgot like a moron. I wonder why she decided to open up to me then.
そういえば店長さんって琴雛先生と同級生だったんですよね。それなら天木絵里さんのこともご存知で？
まあ知ってるっちゃ知ってるが、私は琴雛から話を聞かされていたくらいで、実際に顔を見たことはほとんどないぞ。
Know your classmates.
そもそも私が琴雛と同じクラスになったのだって最後の年だけなんだよ。けどその頃にはもうエリの席は空いていたからな。顔を見たいと思っても最後まで叶わなかった。
そうなんですか。
I was hoping she would be able to tell us a bit more about Amakiiri, but it didn't seem like that would be the case.
とにかくどうして琴雛がお前ごときに話したのかはわからんが、これでわかっただろ。あいつは恋愛やら何やらに気持ちを割いてる余裕はないんだよ。旧友が目覚めるまでは勝手に幸せをつかんじゃいけないと思い込んでいる。こればかりは他人がどうこうしてやれる話じゃないんだ。そっとしておいてやれよ。
You don't need a transition. Couldn't sleep at all last night. Man, it's been too full of thoughts about Minakoshi. Even when I'd closed my eyes, her face appeared in the back of my eyelids. I wasn't able to get a wink of sleep. By the time I realized that the sun had already risen, the fact that I can't get her out of my head, no matter how hard I try. Must mean I really am falling for her. I placed a hand to my chest. My heart was pounding harder than it had even done before.
琴雛先生、ズムゴさんがパンツ欲しがってます。寝起きに頭グリグリしないで。痛いです。IQ が下がった気がします。
Damn, I didn't know minus IQs existed. That's fine, not like it was really high to begin with.
ほんと失礼です、そのツッコミ。
She rubbed her temples, glaring reproachfully at me. At any rate, it was finally time for us to head to school. I'd be seeing Minakoshi again very soon. Crap, I don't think I'll be able to keep my cool when I see her.
なんですそのチキン発言。めめしい男は嫌われますよ。
I deserve that one, I guess.
まあ、夕べのラブノートにもああ書いてありましたし、おとなしくしててもいいんじゃないですか？
Suppose not. Incidentally, what the love note had said last night was...
峰越琴雛
That
運命
shot.
度61。
Last time it was fucking 32, that's a 21 increase.
明日一日は先生を観察してみよう。
Ah, yes! My advice for getting your girl? Stalker behavior.
運命度が爆上がりしていたのは素直に驚きましたね。
I wouldn't have been surprised if it had gone down, to be perfectly honest. Said a bunch of things that were pretty out of line after all. But apparently she had actually responded positively to those things.
やっぱり秘密を共有できたことが大きいんでしょうか。キヌさんも言っていたように、今まで誰にも話さなかった秘密を打ち明けたようですし。
That's the part that confuses me. Why me of all people? Oh yeah, also immediately after I'm done recording, I plan on watching the first episode of, what's the name? Fuck. Taro Osan no VR MMO Katsudoki, which is like another VR MMO anime that's airing this season, and I am 100% intending to fucking compare it as much as I can to Shangri-La Frontier. I will have no mercy.
Fuck. That's the part that confuses me too. Why me of all people? At any rate, the love note did tell me to just be on observation duty today. Guess I'll keep an eye on her for now. Felt a little awkward approaching Sensei after our conversation yesterday. Anyway, honestly, I felt like I owed her an apology.
では今日は生還ということですね。了解です。それはそうだ、つむぐさん。私今日の放課後はちょっと予定あるので席を外しますね。
Hanging out with some friends again or something?
いえ、ちょっと天使関連のことで調べ物がありまして。すみませんが、こればかりは許してください。夜までには帰ってくるので、窓を開けておいてくれると嬉しいです。
Well, alright. Didn't seem like she was lying just to get out of class, so I had no reason to refuse.
それじゃあ、行きましょうか。おはよう。
Good morning. Wait, Minakoshi!
佐久間くん？
Hold on, I wasn't prepared to face her to see your face to face this quickly. My heart wasn't ready for this yet. What are you doing waiting at school gate?
朝の挨拶運動の担当になっちゃって。
Today of all days, huh?
佐久間くんは今日も小泉さんと一緒なのね。仲が良くて羨ましいわ。
No, we just happened
羨
to.
ましいなら、つむぐさんを貸してあげましょうか。
貸す？
いや、何するんですか。
I know it's probably like a chop to the head, but imagine if if she was like, so, well, what if I lend you Tsumugo for a day? This man just suddenly fucking, out of nowhere, produces a fucking massive flail and just beats her over the head with it. Or I don't know, maybe there's like a fucking broom nearby. Quiet if you don't have anything helpful to add.
我ながら最高のフォローだったと思うんですけど。
Like hell it was.
兄さん、追いついてしまいました。
Uta, when did you,
おはようございます。
Damn,
皆さん
everyone's here. Even Kozuki was here now, too.
先生？兄さんと何かあったんですか？
特に何も
You're
ない
panicking too much.
そんな驚かなくても。逆に怪しいんですけど。
ほら、あなたのお兄さんと小泉さんいつも一緒にいるから仲いいわねって話をしてて、本当にそれだけよ。それだけ。
先輩。
What?
とんでもない高嶺の花に手を出しましたね。
It seemed as though Kozuki had already seen right through me. Shortly after the school day began, first was homeroom.
みんな、おはよう。
Mikoshi stood up at the teacher's podium, gazing around the classroom. She went over the morning's announcements, making eye contact with each of her students. And when her eyes met mine, her cheeks flushed a little and she gave an awkward smile. I don't know why, but it was ridiculously cute.
今日の峰越先生、なんか色っぽくないか？
だな、いつもより顔赤いよな。
進路相談とかしてみよっかな。指導室で二人きりになれるかもしれないし。
それなら俺も。
Why numbnuts is career cancelling a joke to you, knock it off.
佐久間、どうした急に？
落ち着こう、つむぐ。なんかいつものキャラじゃない。
つむちゃんが真面目になった。
そういうことじゃないと思いますけど。
ほんとうるさいわね。
During our break between classes.
峰越先生、こんにちは。あら、おきつねさん、こんにち。佐久間くんもいたのね。
Good afternoon.
先生っていつ見ても可愛いですよね。美貌を保つ秘訣とかあるんですか？美貌って特に何もしてないわよ。可愛いって言うならみんなの方が若々しくてもっと可愛いわ。
You're much cuter if you ask me, sensei.
おお。
I hadn't meant to say that out loud! Unsurprisingly, she turned towards me with pouted cheeks.
佐久間く
よくないわよ。
Sorry.
先生かわいい。
もうお狐さん、あなたもよ。それじゃあ私もう行くわね。
やけに紡にだけ当たり強かったね。目の敵にでもされてるの？
I kinda got that feeling too. After modern Japanese class, I finished collecting everyone's papers, Sensei.
あら、佐久間くん、ありがとう。
Would you like me to carry them to the teacher's office for you?
どうして？
Well, I just thought it'd be difficult for you since these papers are pretty heavy and you already have your own things to carry.
でも、やっぱり悪いわ。
Was she avoiding me after all?
それじゃあ私もお手伝いしましょう。
But where'd you come from?
そうね。それならお願いするわ。小泉さんも一緒なら佐久間くんも嬉しいでしょ？
You know what? Actually, no. I figured for this time. This time it was actually helpful. Actually, I'd feel more worried about her than anything.
なんでですか？プリント運ぶくらい簡単ですよ。
Seeing as it's you, I can all too easily imagine you tripping and sending them flying all over the place.
漫画でよくあるやつね。
And the school heartthrob who happens to be walking by stops and helps you pick up everything without a word.
そうそう。何も言わずに手伝ってくれるっていうのが最高なのよね。ってやだ。私ではなんで佐久間くんとこんな話を。
I don't know why I keep messing with the gun right now. This is not a revolver! Huh?
峰越琴ひな、運命度67。明日はバイトの後、しばらく残っていよう。
It's gone up a little more, huh? I'm starting to get confused. I said all those rude things to her yesterday, and she was clearly avoiding me today, too. All right, so our evadedness should have gone down. Was she actually just hiding her embarrassment today or something? Yeah, right, if only I was that lucky. Still, it's obvious that she's been feeling kind of uncomfortable around me. After observing me all day, that was the conclusion I'd come to. Regardless of our fatedness, things were only going to get awkward between me and Sensei at this rate. I guess I should offer her a proper apology after all.
疲れました。
You're awfully late. It's almost midnight.
思いのほか情報収集に苦労しまして。でも自分の直感を信じて行動してみてよかったです。大きな成果はありましたから。
Don't really get it, but it seemed as though whatever urgent business she'd had gone well. Normally she would have sent this with a smug look of superiority on her face, however, and so the pure unadulterated smile currently on her face made me a little curious.
疲れたのでもう寝てもいいですか？
You're determined to stay at my house no matter what, huh?
ここが私のお家ですから。
I'll make it sound like I ever agreed to that. I only said you could stay here until my contract with the love note is over.
わかってますよ。
But whatever, I was planning on going to bed soon too anyway. I'm turning off the lights.
おやすみなさい。
Contract, huh? Though I was the one that said it, I'd completely forgotten about it until now. The contract with Love Meal was supposed to last until my fate with someone reached 100. Or until 90 days had passed since I came into possession of the Love Note. In either case, I had less than 3 months left. If I really did manage to find love, did that mean Love Meal would disappear? Though I'd normally never have a problem voicing this question aloud, tonight for some reason it remained stuck in the back of my throat. After getting out of the bath, I heaved a long sigh. It was my night routine to take one right before bed in order to fall asleep smoothly. As usual, I took a quick bath and headed straight to bed. However, I wasn't able to lay down right away.
佐久間くん。
I hadn't been able to take my mind off him all day today. Before I realized it, I was following him around with my eyes, wondering about his friends and who he hung out with. And yet, whenever he came to speak with me, my heart would pound, and I'd end up doing some to try and avoid him. Some teacher I was. I knew it was pathetic, but I couldn't help but feel conscious about him.
なんでこんなに気になっちゃうんだろう。
The truth be told, I'd been interested in Sakuma for a long time now, and the reason was...
やっぱり小泉さんの影響かしらね。
Ale Koimi. Anyway, you looked at it, she was extremely close with Sakuma. I always saw them together, always chatting happily and intimately. However,
エリー
times I couldn't help but see Eddie's figure overlapping with hers. Sometimes it almost seemed as though Eddie herself was sharing this intimate friendship with Sakuma. And as a result, I felt myself feeling strangely intimate with him as well.
だから佐久間くんにエリのことを話しちゃったのかしら。
It was obvious that my credibility would have taken a hit if I'd told anyone that I became a teacher as a way of atoning for my sins. That's why I'd kept my mouth shut about it all this time, and I'd ended up revealing the truth yesterday to my own student, Sakuma, and his response had defied all expectation. In that case, allow me to speak for myself. I wish you wouldn't keep holding on to this, sensei. Speaking as your student, I don't think you should be letting your personal circumstances influence your teaching. It throws me that that's your motivation to be an educator. Every time I thought back on it, my body wouldn't stop fidgeting. Unable to sit still, I flopped down onto my bed.
あんなこと今まで言われたことないもの。
It troubles me that that's your motivation to be an educator. There was both anger and admonishment in his words. As a teacher, I was ashamed to be scolded by my own student, but strangely enough, I didn't feel upset by it. If anything, it made me happy, having someone get angry at me.
叱られたのに嬉しいって変なの？でもあそこまではっきり叱ってくれる人なんてエリ以外いなかったもんね。佐久間くん。
His name slipped naturally out of my mouth. Just what is going on with me? I've been acting strange since yesterday.
エリがいけないのよ。彼に甘えたりするから私も気になっちゃって。って違うわね。エリじゃなくて小泉さんよ。何言ってるの？
How many times am I gonna get it wrong?
あの二人前は付き合ってないって言ってたけど、どう見てもお似合いよね。
Must be nice if I were to find someone of my own as well. Wish she was as kind and caring a person as Sakuma too.
何考えてるの私。あろうことか教え子の名前を出しちゃうなんて。
Must have finally lost it. Need to get some sleep and soon.
きっとエリだって佐久間くんのことを気に入るわよね。こんな私を心配してくれるくらいいい子なんだもの。
Feeling drained, I dropped my head down onto my pillow.
私は恋愛なんてしちゃいけないから。
With a penitent prayer, I whispered to myself before quietly... Like a penitent prayer, I whispered to myself before quietly closing my eyes. I think she's still avoiding me after all. The next day after work, following the Love Note's advice from yesterday, I remained in the break room, killing time by grumbling to myself.
確かに今日もあからさまにつむぐさんのことを避けてましたよね、先生。でも嫌っているわけではないのは確かですよ。
If we're only talking about numbers, I suppose. If I recall, our faithfulness had been around 67 last night. I wasn't sure how much I believed that, though.
佐久間先輩、大丈夫ですか？昨日、今日と全く進展がないせいで落ち込んで死んでるんですね。かわいそうです。
Enough of the pity party. We even told you I haven't been making any progress lately.
カマをかけただけです。
おい。
それにしても先輩、チャレンジャーですね。まさか峰越先生を恋の相手に選ぶとは。まあ、わからなくはないですけど、峰越先生美人ですし。
Kosaki nodded in agreement. What do you think my chances are with her?
そんなのあるわけ、ないとも言えないんですよね。最近の峰越先生、佐久間先輩に対して様子がおかしいようですし。
Apparently, Kosaki had been observing Minakoshi and I in secret. There really was no underestimating this
ク
girl.
ルルさんのお墨付きももらったことですし、もっと自信持ちましょうよ、つむぐさん。
I don't think I would call that confidence.
あ、そういえば大事な要件を伝え忘れてました。たった今、峰越先生がご来店されましたよ。
Why did you say that in the beginning?
明日が休日ということもあって客はまだそこそこいるが、そんなに忙しいわけでもない。話し相手はしてやるからゆっくりしていくといい。
さすがに悪いわ。小腹を満たしたらすぐに帰るわね。
That is what Lovely told me to stay after work yesterday. Incredible, I never should have doubted it.
店長が自ら相手をするとおっしゃってましたが、何を話してるか気になりますよね。
Me too. It wasn't often that I saw Minakoshi come in to visit Kino at work, even if they were old friends.
配膳の時に近くに寄ってこっそり聞いてきます。もし重そうな話だったら聞かなかったことにしますので。
そうそう、体育祭といえば3年の時の騎馬戦では大活躍だったわよね。一人で相手陣営の騎馬を全滅させてなかった？
開始10秒で沈んだお前の騎馬をおとりにしてうまいこと立ち回ったからな。
運動は苦手だったんだから仕方ないじゃない。
あっさり沈んで男子どもが残念そうにしてたな。さぞかしもっと揺れるところが見たかったんだろう。
揺れるって何のこと？
逆に興味あるくらいの日常会話しかしてませんね。
いたって平和じゃないですか。
So she really was just here to pay Kino a visit, huh? Suppose I shouldn't have expected her to talk about Eriamaki. Even if Kino was in the same class as her, she wouldn't have brought it up in such a public setting.
普段会わない旧友と世間話をしに来るくらい実生活で追い詰められているということかもですね。
Don't tell me I'm the one who's been stressing her out.
そろそろ先輩も帰り支度しておいた方がいいですよ。峰越先生、そんなに長居するつもりはないようなので。
What are you implying? I should walk home together with her or something?
好きな女の人を夜一人で帰らせるんですか？
Well, to be honest, I've already finished packing
さ
up.
すが先輩です。おーい、誰でもいいから皿下げておいてくれ。言ったそばからですね。
あ、私が行ってきますよ。店長、お皿下げに来ましたよ。
お前まだ残ってたのか。タイムカード切ったんだろ。
まあまあ、これはサービス残業ということで。
エリー？
Sensei's shout echoed across the restaurant, was unmistakably directed at Ale.
エリー？
Now, was the resemblance really that uncanny? She'd mentioned that before that Ale looked just like her, but were a change of hairstyle and clothes really enough to make Sensei mistake her for her friend? Eriamaki.
アホ抜かすな、琴ひな。よく見ろ、お前の生徒だぞ。
小泉さんだったのね。ごめんなさい。先生、変な勘違いしちゃったわ。
いえ、大丈夫です。お皿下げちゃいますね。
ありがとう。そういえばここで働いてるって言ってたわよね。この前歓迎会にも呼ばれたばかりなのに。
まったくだ。担任教師ともあろうものが情けない。
キヌ、小泉さんたちをこき使ったりしてないわよね。
こき使わなきゃ仕事にならんだろうが。そういう心配はいいからとっとと帰れ。お代はつけといてやるから。
あら、それじゃあお言葉に甘えちゃおうかしら。
またいつでも来い。さすがにおごるのは今回限りだが、今日みたいな世間話でも話して気が紛れるなら いくらでも付き合ってやる。
ありがとうキヌ。それじゃあ私はこれで。
Sensei, good evening.
佐久間くん、どうしてここに？
I just finished my shift, actually.
バイト？あ、そっか。佐久間くんもここで働いていたんだったわね。
Got the feeling Kozuki was giving me a thumbs up from behind. Must have been a little unnatural after all. Making my appearance just as she was about to leave.
ちょうどいいじゃないですか、つむぐさん。琴ひな先生を送ってあげたらどうです？
夜道は危ないですし、誰かついて行ってもらった方がいいですよ。ねえ店長。
高崎さんまで。
まあ、琴ひながいいならいいんじゃないか？
If it's alright with you, let me walk you back, Sensei. I'm worried about you going home alone.
じゃあ途中まで。
Understood. Alright, Kino, I'll be going now.
先生、バイ
先生、まんざらでもなさそうでしたね。
バイ。間違いなく大きな一歩になりそうです。
お前らは一体何を企んでるんだ？
いえいえ、何も。ただ成り行きを見守っているだけですよ。
Kino is confused. The two of us walked silently down the street without a word. Although the situation was obviously a little forced, things were still rather awkward. Maybe this was a rash decision after all. Though I couldn't see Sensei's face very well in the dark, I sensed she was making a very nervous expression. But after going through all this trouble of being alone with her, there was no point in being cautious anymore. Sensei?
なんでしょう。
There's no need to be that surprised. I know it's a bit late for me to be saying this, but I'm sorry for getting so ahead of myself.
大丈夫よ。一人で帰るよりは安心するから助かっているわ。
Oh, I'm sorry for getting ahead of myself today, too. But I was actually apologizing for what I said during our consultation the other day.
進路相談？
You know, when I said your reasonings for becoming a teacher troubled me, I wanted to apologize this whole time. It really was incredibly rude, I'm sorry. I turned to face her and lowered my head.
謝らなくていいわよ。あなたの言い分は正しいんだから。
Ever since then, you've been avoiding me, haven't you, Sensei? That means you've been feeling uncomfortable around me, right?
それは恥ずかしくて。
Huh?
なんでもないです。あのね、佐久間くん。私はむしろあなたに感謝しているのよ。
Wait, you are?
ええ。あなたがバッサリ本音を言ってくれたおかげで、私は教師としての自分を見つめ直すことができたわ。私、まだまだ自分に甘えていたみたいね。生徒にお叱りを受けるようじゃ、教師失格よ。
That's not what I...
教師っていうのは、どんな事情を抱えていても、毅然と教壇に立たなくてはいけないものなの。それなのに、教え子に同情を誘うようなことを言って、あなたに迷惑かけちゃったものね。エリが目指していた教師は、きっと今の私みたいなものじゃないわよね。佐久間くんの一言で、それに気づかされたわ。おかげで私、もっと頑張らなきゃって思ったの。生徒に不安を与えないような強い先生にならなきゃ。あなたの一言のおかげよ。ありがとう、佐久間くん。
That wasn't the response I'd been looking for. Simply wanted to get back on friendly speaking terms with Minakoshi. Now she seemed to be harder on herself than ever before. Couldn't help but feel frustrated at the almost selfish way she interpreted my words. Sensei, I... Crap, car. Sensei, look out! Passed by without incident. Even so, I'd been going way too fast given how dark it was outside. If I'd been a little slower, Minakoshi might have been in danger. Are you okay, Sensei? When I turned around, her finely featured face was right in front of my own. Even in the dark, I could clearly make out her expression. That's how close we were.
Sorry, I,
いえ、おかげで助かったわ。ありがとう。
hand that I was holding felt slightly cold to the touch. By contrast, her face, which was inches from my own, was flushed red with heat. Her soft and full lips moved soundlessly. A warm, sweet breath caressed my face. With her this close to me, I couldn't stop myself.
佐久間くん、
Is he going
そ
for
ろ
it?
そろ手を。
Is he going for it? Didn't want to let go of this hand. Sorry, but I want to stay like this just a little bit longer. I have something I need to say.
何急に。
I know I apologize for saying this earlier, but to be frank, right now you're troubling me as well. All that stuff about 80, about becoming a dependable teacher, as your student, it bothers me hearing you say that.
ごめんなさい。
My voice grew quieter and quieter, but I couldn't back down now. I had to convey my feelings to her as directly as possible. Whatever feelings you have towards Eriamaki, I can obviously never fully understand. But at the very least, I wish you wouldn't hold it back when you're with me. It's okay for you to open up about your past, like you did back then. The feelings you have for Eriamaki, the guilt you have towards her, it's okay to say these things aloud. But please forget about being a teacher or being an adult. If you have to be vulnerable, do so as a woman. Likewise, I'll accept it all. Not as a student, but as a man.
佐久間くん、どういうこと？
I just can't leave you alone. Someone who knows about your past, I don't want to leave you alone. The reason I said you're troubling me is because you're trying to keep it all to yourself. Please stop thinking that you have to do all of this alone. What do you say? Will you show me your vulnerable side, Sensei? I did it. Finally said everything I'd wanted to. These feelings that I have for Minakoshi. I had expressed myself exactly the way I'd wanted. That's right, I didn't want her to hold back anymore. The burden she was carrying may be heavy, but I didn't want her shouldering it alone. And above all else, I wanted to help her. Minakoshi looked at the ground, avoiding my eyes. I decided to wait. It was excited all shame and embarrassment. I simply continued to gaze at her until she turned to look at me. However...
佐久間くん、お願い。離れて。
Sensei still
離れて。
sensed the rejection of her voice, which was thinner and lower than usual. Reflexively, I released her hand. As she stepped away from me, Sensei's beautiful face became shrouded in darkness once more. I could no longer read what she was thinking anymore.
ありがとう。心配してくれて。でも、ダメよ。先生相手にこんなことをしちゃ。
I'm serious though.
それがいけないのよ。あなたには恋美さんがいるでしょ。
Huh? What did Ale have to do with this?
もうここまででいいわ。送ってくれてありがとう。それじゃあね。
The inscrutable tone of her voice lingered in my ears even after she was gone. For a while, I simply stood on the spot, remembering the feeling of her chilly hands in mine. Blockhead!
おかえりなさい、つむぐさん。
I didn't know you were already home.
帰ってきたのはついさっきです。実は途中からつむぐさんたちの後を追ってたんですよ。
You were.
ごめんなさい。
She stuck out her tongue
見ちゃ
playfully.
悪いなぁとは思いましたけど、よかったじゃないですか。ラッキーな展開になれて。
Not really. I was able to apologize and say the things I'd wanted to say, but Sensei's reaction to those things was another matter entirely. I'd still yet to find a way into her heart. There had to be some kind of crucial misunderstanding between us after
な
all.
るほど。思ったより早く行動に移すべきですね。
What you say?
いえ、なんでも。でも楽しかったですよね。久しぶりに二人きりになれて。
Love me, I'll just kicks the door down to fucking to Kotohina's house. Just walks up there. Alright, I'm going to explain this very carefully and very slowly so you understand 100% what's going on. Me, Ale. Me also, Itty. Me become Itty. Itty wake up. If Sakuma get girl. Sakuma no want girl other than you. You clearly love him. Ergo, everything will be fine if you two just fuck already. There is no negative. You like him, he likes you, and I get to not be a vegetable anymore. Yeah, I made a joke like that in the fucking description of last part as well. Vegetable turning into bean. Bean is a vegetable, so the joke doesn't 100% work, but cinnamon bun isn't exactly the right word. Cinnamon roll isn't exactly the right word for it either. Well, I suppose I'll have to check the love note to see how things actually went, though. You're gonna take a look too, aren't you?
いえ、今日は結構です。
Huh?
それよりも、つむぐさん的には先生とうまくやっていけそうですか？
I don't know.
先生とお付き合いしたいんですよね。
Well, yeah.
そうですか。うんうん。
What's with her? Nail's been acting a little strange for some reason now. For some time now. Gotta think of it. What happened to that urgent business he had yesterday? All done with that already?
はい。昨日で全て終わりましたから。
Let's see.
はい。
Look, there's clearly something new.
拉致が開かないんで、もう行っちゃいますね。
Saying this, she calmly stood up and went over to the window. The expression of her face was one I seldom saw her make, a look of utter
つ
seriousness.
むぐさん、あなたには今までとてもお世話になってきましたが、訳あって私は今日をもってつむぐさんのおそばを離れることになりました。
Huh?
上からの命令なんです。別の任務が入っちゃいまして。
Yeah, that's a lie.
けど、契約自体は終わってないので、ラブノートはそのままお貸しします。つまりこれからは、私のサポートなしで、琴ひな先生を落としてくださ
I
いね。
mean, that is actively the best way for the current situation, because the biggest reason why Kotohina is refusing this is obviously not the fact that, yes, he's a student. Like, yes, that's a part of it, but the biggest reason is clearly the fact that she is, like, set it into her mind that he is supposed to be with Ale because of her resemblance to Itty, and she is more concerned with giving, like, Itty a youth to enjoy, even if the person in question isn't actually Itty. It is in this case, but that's beside the point right now. She doesn't know that. So if she is out of the picture, that's excuses out of the window. Anyways. Hold on. What the heck are you talking about all of a sudden? What do you mean parting ways? Aren't you supposed to be my angel? If your contract isn't over yet, how can you just take off like this?
だから言ってるじゃないですか。上の命令だって。
Call this Ira up here right now. What's his name? The Archangel? I want to talk to him directly. This man really walked up to Ale like, I want to talk to your manager. Oh my god, Tsumugu is a Karen.
強情ですね。私に固執する必要はないでしょうに。あなたは今、琴ひな先生を追っかけてるんですから、私に構わず先生に集中してくださいよ。
I'm not clinging to you. I'm asking why you're suddenly leaving out of the blue.
仕方ないですね。
Oh shit! Oh shit! Huh? Couldn't understand what I was seeing. Squinted out my eyes and looked again. I wasn't mistaken. Loveneal really was ruthlessly drawing her bow, and her arrow was pointed directly at me. What are you doing?
私の言葉がどれくらい本気かを分かりやすく視覚化してあげました。言っときますけど、今回は許可を得てますから。最初の頃みたいに天罰とか受けません。今すぐこの手を離してもいいんですよ。
She pulled the string back even further. She relaxed her grip if she relaxed her grip for even an instant, the arrow would come flying straight towards me, directly towards my heart.
できれば撃たせないでほしいですね。そのままおとなしく私から距離を取ってください。
Her tone bordered on threatening. I'd never heard Lovemeal speak like this before. She must really be serious this time. But even so, there was no way I could just give up.
一でも引き止めようとしますか。
Can't accept this. If I've done something wrong, then I'll apologize. If you have some other complaints, then I'll listen. So just be honest with me. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. For a moment, I thought I saw her expression
つ
falter.
むぐさん、あなたに対して不満はありません。 お世話になったと心から思っています。だからこそもう私の助けがなくてもやっていけるだろうと思ったんです。
That makes no sense! Lunged forward, tried to grab her bow, but it was a second too late.
つむぐさん。
The arrow's sharp tip pierced through my chest. The impact was far more powerful than I could have imagined, sending me flying backward. There was no pain, but its effects were unmistakable. My vision quickly began to dim. Damn it! Wait! I struggled to call out, but my voice only echoed in vain. I don't know why this one didn't hurt, but the rejuvenation one in the Rinka's route did. The last thing I saw before my consciousness faded was the sight of Love Meal disappearing into the night. The next morning, I woke up around the same time as usual. Somehow I found myself on top of my bed, despite the fact that I'd fallen asleep on the ground last night, or rather, lost consciousness on the ground. I vividly recalled last night's events. Love Meal suddenly cleared her departure. Love Meal pointing her arrow at me. Love Meal truly disappearing. Looked around my room, but there was no traces of her having returned. All her personal belongings had gone. It was almost as if I'd gone back to in time 1 month ago.
あれ、兄さん、祝日なのに早起きですね。
As I just couldn't sleep any longer. Is there anything to eat?
はい、あと少し待っててください。
Though I didn't have much help, once I was done eating, I decided to go and try to search for her. It was frustrating, but that was the only thing I could do right now. She doesn't come back at all. After all, went around to a bunch of places I thought Love Meal might have gone to last night, but I hadn't found anything. Even by the time evening rolled around, she hadn't returned. By the time I realized it, my precious holiday had come and gone. Damn, I'm gonna remember this the next time I see her. I'm not gonna let her off easy for ruining my day off.
おはよう、つむぐ。昨日のかりんちゃんの配信見た？
Huh? Oh, I guess I forgot.
どうしちゃったの？最近見逃し多くない？
Not entirely my fault, though. Looked towards the seat of a person who was mostly to blame, but as expected it was empty. Was she not planning to show up at school from now on either? Yeah, but having so much fun, too. As my gaze wandered, my eyes happened to meet with Saijo's. What is it, Saijo?
別に何でもないわよ。レイルちゃん、今日休み？
Looks like it. I hadn't heard anything from her, though.
珍しい。つむちゃん最近仲良かったのに。おっと、また後でね。
One after the other, our classmates took their seats. Once everyone was sitting down, Mikoshi appeared at the doorway. As she stood at the teacher's podium, our eyes quickly met. She was as pretty as always, but after what happened the day before, I was sure she'd avoid my gaze again. Or so I thought. For some reason, there was something sad in the way she looked at me. Something inside her changed. I'll have to ask Ale what she thinks later. Oh, wait. Ale's not here anymore. Afterward, I continued to feel Sensei's ambiguous gaze on me from time to time. But as the hours rolled by, I was unable to find the chance to talk to her properly. By the time I realized that it was already time to go home, time passed way too quickly when I was distracted.
ちょっと雲出てきたか？この後雨降るってよ。部活屋内になるかもな。
やば、今日雨具持ってきてなかった。
What a coincidence, me neither.
あ、本当？つむぐと一緒なら問題あるよね。それなのになんで涼しい顔してるの？
Not much I can do about it now.
なんかつむぐ、やけに落ち着いてる？最近情緒不安定じゃない？大丈夫？悟りの境地でも開いた？
Can't tell if you're worried about me or making fun of me. As final bell rang, Minakoshi entered the classroom. Her usual gentle smile.
突然ですが、皆さんに悲しいお知らせがあります。
Was nowhere to be seen. As she continued to speak, her expression echoed the weight of her next
本
words.
日お休みされている小見エイルさんですが、この度家庭の事情で転校することが決まりました。
What?
family circumstances transferring, the classroom instantly burst into whispers at the sudden mention of those
本
words.
当は皆さんときちんとお別れしたかったみたいなのですが、あまりにも急なことだったので、小泉さんはもう本国のリーベル王国に戻っています。学園にも連絡があり、皆さんへもそのように伝えてほしいとのことで。
転校っていくらなんでも急すぎない？一昨日はそんなこと言ってなかったのに。
Masato was right. Leaving this announcement until the final homer of the day was just too cruel. She really did play us for fools up until the very end. There was no point in thinking about someone who wasn't here anymore. I needed to get over it and move on. Before that, there was one last thing I needed to confirm, or there was something I needed to settle.
いらっしゃいませって紡ぐじゃないか。今日シフト入っていなかったよな。
Nah, just got something I needed to do.
として来ていないのならこのままシフトに入ってくれるとありがたいんだが、何せ急に一人減ってしまってな。
You already heard, huh?
今日の昼にな、家族が大変なことになって急遽国に帰らなきゃいけなくなったなんて突然来たもんだから驚いたもんだ。しかし事情が事情だからな。文句の一つも言えなかったよ。
That was unusual, especially for Kino of all
で
people.
欠員を埋めてくれるのか？
Sorry, can't, but I'll try to see if Masato's free. Fortunately, I was able to get hold of Masato and he agreed to come in right away. Considering how dejected he must have been as well, I was extremely grateful. Rain's getting even heavier. It started to drizzle soon after I left the restaurant. It showed no signs of stopping or slowing. It'd have been nice if the rain could have held off a bit longer. I didn't have any rain gear and my house was quite far after all. I was gonna get drenched. Suppose I could just buy an umbrella from a nearby convenience store, but whatever, I just head home like this.
ちょっと佐久間くん
Sensei? As I was about halfway home, I ran into someone rather unusual. The moment she saw my face, she came splashing across the road towards me. What are you doing here?
それはこっちのセリフよ。こんなにずぶ濡れになって。ほら、早く傘に入って。
Thank you, I forgot to bring mine today.
それならどうしてどこかで雨宿りしていかないの？こんな雨の中ふらふらと歩き回って風邪でもひいたらどうするのよ。
Why is she getting upset with me?
ごめんなさい。あなただって辛いでしょうに。でもだからといってそんなに自暴自棄にならないで。あなたが落ち込んでいるのを見ると私も悲しいわ。すぐ近くに私の家があるの。一人暮らしだし他に誰もいないからシャワーだけでも浴びていって。
Your place? No, that's not. Really not.
お願いよ。今あなたを一人にしたくないの。
Sensei. Thanks for letting me use your shower. Ultimately, I ended up going to Minakoshi's apartment and borrowing her shower as she
ちゃんと温まって
insisted.
きた？
Yeah. Oh, and thanks for the change of clothes, too. Since I didn't have anything else to wear, Sensei had lent me her tracksuit. The size was a bit small, but more importantly, it made me somewhat nervous being enveloped by her scent.
濡れた制服は乾かしてるからもう少し待ってね。
Thanks for everything, really.
いいのよ。気にしないで。小泉さんのことごめんなさいね。
Once I was comfortable and my heat had begun to cool off, Sensei looked into my face and murmured a few
今日の
words.
昼頃にいきなり連絡が来てね。突然のことで私たち教師も焦ったわ。
Everyone at work was at a loss too. It's all Aile's fault, don't blame yourself.
そうも言ってられないでしょ。小泉さんがいなくなって寂しいんじゃないの？
Lonely?
小泉さんのこと大切に思っていたんじゃないの？ただの友達という関係には見えなかったもの。あなたたちは。
Well, naturally, she wasn't my friend or classmate or anything like that. She was my contract and Rangel. That was the extent of our relationship. Nothing more and nothing less. Don't tell me you still think we're dating or something. Like I said before, I don't have that kind of relationship with her.
ゆくゆくはそうなるのかなって思ってたわ。
You're mistaken, Sensei.
Neither of us felt that way about each other. Besides, I was more interested in Minakoshi from the start. Although, you're not wrong when you said I cared for her.
佐久間くん
Well, it was true that what I said about her being my angel, my contractor. Thanks to her sleeping in my room every day, doing whatever she wanted. I almost kind of think of her like family. Now that I thought about it, Uta and I had been living on our own for years now. Having grown used to living without parents, Uta and I had fended for ourselves. And out of the blue, love meal had burst into our lives. Although she was a total airhead and could be quite the handful to deal with, living with her was somehow rather fun as well. I've even begun to think that maybe it wasn't so bad that we had to have been mixed up in all this love note business after all. So his love meal was there with me at least. Huh. Yeah, that's why why it bothers me so much. Guess it's not surprising that losing someone close to me is hard to swallow. Guess it reminds me of when my mom died.
佐久間くん
Huh? Has Suddenly I felt a warm embrace around me. That warmth was incredibly tender and soft. When I saw Minakoshi's face in front of mine, I finally realized I was being hugged.
私ねちょっと前まであなたのことをとても強い人だと思っていたわ。まだ学生なのにしっかりとした考えを持ってるし、妹さん思いで勉学もバイトも頑張ってて、私に対しても強くものを言えるから。
That was...
背伸びしていただけなのよね。私のことを心配してあなたはわざと強く言ってくれてたんでしょ。でもそんなあなたにも悲しいことはあるし、どうかそれは認めて、そして素直になってちょうだい。
Her arms wrapped even tighter around me. Each time she squeezed me, her soft, sweet fragrance tickled my nostrils.
佐久間くんも言ってくれたわよね。私に我慢するなって。苦しいこともすべて受け止めるからって。
You know, that's all a nice argument, but you fucking turned him down, so,
その気持ちは私も同じなのよ。
Again, I see what they're doing, but she openly turned him down, so, this point does not stand! Huh?
あなたが苦しんでいるのなら私がそれを受け止めてあげるわ。大切な人がいなくなった悲しみは私にも理解できるから。だから一人で抱え込まないで。せめて私の前では我慢しなくていいのよ。
When she said those words, my final thread of self-control
佐
snapped.
久間くん 佐久間くん
Oh my. Before I realized it, I had pushed Minakoshi down onto the bed. I was mounted on top of her, preventing her from getting up.
佐久間くんどうしたの？
A look of consternation crosses her face. That was only natural. There was no teacher out there who would just let their student do something like this. No matter how kind of a person she was, there was still some things I could and couldn't get away with. You knew all this, and yet I couldn't stop myself anymore. Sensei, I'm sorry. Please, just for the day, indulge me, just for a little while.
佐久間くん
Sorry, I was particularly distraught when she left, but can't deny that it felt like she left a hole in my heart. Now that she's gone, I do feel a little lonely. Not as strong as you think I am, Sensei. Only been putting on a front, pretending to be tough. If I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to take care of Uta, or face my mother, or look my father in the eye. That's the only way I've known how to live up till now. Losing someone who I thought of as family might be too much for me after all.
佐久間くん
I'm sorry, Sensei. I didn't know whether I was apologizing for what I was doing or for being weak anymore. When I realized how powerless I really was, I couldn't help but yearn for Sensei even more. I yearned for someone who could be my rock. Even after doing something like this and making this pathetic confession, still Sensei said nothing. Even though she had every right to resist. In fact, I almost wanted her to.
いいのよ。
And yet she gave me a gentle smile.
妹さんのことも恋美さんのこともあなたは一人で抱え込みすぎなの。さっきも言ったでしょ。私の前では我慢しないでって。
Are you sure, Sensei? Slowly her hand came to rest on my cheek. Tenderly, lovingly, as though stroking her own child. Her hands felt so warm that I nearly felt my eyes beginning to water with tears. Sensei, I lowered myself down over her.
佐久間くん
Slowly brought my face to hers. Her lips touched so suddenly that I couldn't quite recall how it felt. They were so soft. So soft that it almost felt like it almost didn't feel like I'd made contact. So once wasn't nearly enough. Although I kissed her a little more forcefully, she showed no signs of resisting. In fact, she softly caressed my face.
佐久間くん
Can you call me by my name? Just when we were alone together. I want to call you by your name too, Sensei.
あなたがそうしてほしいならいいわよ。つむぐくん
Kotohina. And
いい子ね。
back at it.
我慢しなくていいの。私の前では素直でいていいのよ。
Outside, the gray skies shrouded the town in a thick, gloomy darkness. But in this one dimly lit corner of the city, the two of us quietly embraced each other, as though to purge ourselves of everything we've bottled up until now. You know what, actually? Hold on, let me skip
ここま
back
で戻
here.
せたみたいです
Save
上
over
書き保
this.
存ちゃんとセーブしました
Kotohina. And, I do feel like I can finish this today. At least it feels like that. So I'll just skip. So I'll just finish this and then like install the R18 patch real quick and then talk about it if there's anything important in the scene or something. Anyways, as though to purge ourselves of everything we've built up until now, as though to share our sadness and pain with one another. We continued to lock lips for hours on end. Or they only or they were only making
俺
out.
のキューピッドがポンコツすぎて怖
They
い。
didn't have sex? Or was that just censored? I feel like they would have actually stated it if they had sex, considering how censorship for the rest of this game has been handled. When I woke, the sky outside was refreshingly clear. It was almost as though the storm from yesterday had never happened.
おはよう、つむぐくん。
Morning, Kotohina. Still feeling a little bit awkward. The two of us found it a little difficult to look each other in the face.
なんだか変な感じね。
Yeah. Last night, we had both lost track of time and spent hours making out with each other. By the time we realized that the sky was already pitch black. After finally coming back to our senses, we decided it would be best for me to stay over since it was so late. The scary part was that I hadn't contacted Uta about it, however. Thanks for indulging me yesterday. I don't think I'm gonna forget last night anytime soon.
唇がすっかりふやけちゃったわ。
Felt the shiver run down my spine as she licked her lips suggestively. She was ridiculously cute and sexy. After everything we did, it was safe to assume that we were going out now, right?
それでね、一つだけ約束してほしいことがあるの。このことは二人だけの秘密にしてね。
I know you still have appearances to keep up after all.
バレたら即刻首をはねられちゃうわ。
She jokingly drew a finger across her neck. This was a relationship between teacher and student. Naturally, we couldn't let anybody know about us. Anyways, it's probably about time I headed home, but would it be alright if we hung out again sometime?
もちろん。
Great. Well, I'd better get going.
朝ごはんだけでも食べていったら？
I appreciate the offer, but it's gonna be a huge pain if Uta wakes up before I get back, so... we can save it for next time.
そう。わかったわ。それじゃあ気をつけて帰ってね。
Oh, well, I'll stop by again, Kotohina.
待ってるわ。つむぐくん。
Thus, my secret relationship began with my beautiful homeroom teacher.
これでよかったのかしら。でも私はどうしてもごめんね、エリー。
Although I said I'd stop by again, in the end, several days passed without seeing each other due to our schedules. It wouldn't be long before Golden Week was over. But just as that unease began creeping over me, I was finally able to arrange another visit to Kotohina's apartment today. With the bounce of my step, I headed towards her place. I was more excited than I'd been in a long time today. According to the love note, things have been going well too. From what I saw last night, our faithfulness was currently at 87. Nothing yet had once told me that a faithfulness of 80 essentially meant that two people were lovers. Although neither of us had specifically confessed our feelings for each other yet, it was safe to say that we were in a relationship. That said, it doesn't seem like it'll be reaching 100 anytime soon. Though Kotohina and I were dating now, I still couldn't say for certain that I had made my way into her heart. Somewhere inside, I still felt as though part of her was rejecting me. And that was because... No. Stop it. Let's not have these depressing thoughts right now. I was here to have fun with Kotohina today.
いらっしゃい、つむぐくん。
Good morning, Kotohina. With the same smile as always, she welcomed me into her room. Seems like she wasn't just in her regular loungewear today. Even those plain clothes, she looked amazingly cute.
なんだか久しぶりね。ゴールデンウィークだからいっぱい会おうって言ったのに3日くらい空いちゃったし。
Yeah, I've been pretty lonely too, to be honest. That's why I know it's kind of sudden. But is it okay if I hug you?
そういうのは許可を取らずにやるものよ。
Sorry, I guess I'm just feeling a bit hesitant. But alright, Kotohina. As I held her against my chest, she let out an alluring sigh. I hugged her hard as though to vent all the frustration of not being able to see her all week. Too tight?
ちょっとだけね。でもこのままでいいわ。
Alright, just like this then. For a while, we simply remained like this, standing at the entrance, sharing each other's warmth. Thank you for the food.
はい、お粗末様。
After lunchtime, Kotohina treated me to some of her... around lunchtime, Kotohina treated me to some of her homemade cooking. Though a little cliche, she had cooked me an omelette rice. Unsurprisingly, however, she hadn't gone so far as to draw heart and ketchup. Seriously, it was delicious. The creamy way you cooked the eggs was exactly how I like it.
本当？それなら作った甲斐があったわね。
I feel like I could eat this every day. In fact, I wish you would make this for me every day.
毎日ってまさかそういう？
I've talked previously about how with the fucking Tiny Senpai anime, I got really upset like, yes, these working adults are acting like fucking middle schoolers that are experiencing their first crush. And that's pissing me off. In some regards, Kotohina here is also acting like fucking middle school maiden and first time in love. But first off, she has shown that she's still quite mature about it, considering the whole, like, her holding the MC the scene earlier. And at the same time, she essentially has gone her entire life feeling like I don't deserve relationships, and now she's in a relationship, so it makes sense for her to be awkward about these things. Like, unless someone actively is like
I do not deserve this kind of shit. People will at the very least have like thoughts about this kind of shit and not immediately like go insane the moment the tiniest bit of romance happens. Huh? No, I didn't mean it like that.
そういうのじゃないの？
I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but what was I saying? Anyways, this is the first time I've ever eaten anyone's home cooking outside of my own family, so I'm just feeling really moved.
言い過ぎよ。そういえば、いつもは妹さんが作ってくれてるんだっけ？
Yeah, a few years ago she couldn't even hold a ladle properly. But now her cooking is absolutely second to none. As a brother, I guarantee it.
そう。そんなに美味しいんだ。
For some reason, Kotohina pouted
お
a
弁
little.
当も作ってもらってるんだもんね。
That's right, every day, and it's always delicious without fail. Honestly, I can't thank her enough.
そうなんだ。
She seemed rather unamused. The love you put into your cooking makes it better, though.
そのフォローはちょっと急すぎかな。
Damn, I screwed up. Could it be that you're actually the jealous type?
多分そうかも。この前も気が気じゃなかったくらいだし。
What do you mean last time?
その漫画の話。
Your way of playing dumb is pretty old-fashioned, huh? By saying you were jealous of Ale. Looks like I hit the bullseye. You're too cute, Kotohina.
いきなりそんなこと言わないで。
You're so cute that I can't help but feel like hugging you again.
それはいいよ。
Kotohina! Fucking barrels her over.
キスまでされるとは思わなかったわ。
The bad, your lips were just right there.
あなたは目の前に唇があったらキスするの？
Only if they're yours.
またふやけちゃう。
She blushed, licking her lips. That gesture only turned me on even more. But leaving that aside for now, really was Ale you were jealous of.
そうね。傍から見てもあなたたち二人は本当にお似合いだと思ったから。
Resigning herself, she answered with a wry smile.
私、つむぐくんには小泉さんが似合うだろうって思うことにして一歩引くつもりだったのよ。それなのにあなたったらこっちのことも考えずにグイグイ来るんだもの。
She puffed out her cheeks in protest. This too was adorable.
小泉さんがいなくなったのをいいことにあなたを奪って正直卑怯だとは思うわ。
That's silly. Whether she was still here or not wouldn't change how I feel about you. In fact, if you don't stop beating yourself up about this, I'm gonna hug you again.
それはお仕置きのつもりなの？
In my opinion.
じゃあもっと卑屈になっちゃおうかしら。
Bottom. If that's the case, I'm not showing any mercy either.
つむぐくん、それ以上吸われすぎて腫れちゃいそう。
Must be tough.
誰のせいよ、一体。
Yours for being so sexy.
エロ。
Her cheeks flushed bright red. She seemed even more embarrassed being called sexy than being kissed.
小泉さんのことなんだけどね。
Yeah?
小泉さんが転校することになった朝、実は私、彼女と会っていたの。
What a coincidence! I spoke to her the evening before and she knocked me the fuck out! You did.
あの子の方からいきなり現れたんだけどね。
後で公的な連絡が来ると思いますが、訳あって私はこの町を去ることになりました。今までお世話になりました、琴ひな先生。
なんて言われて驚いて声も出なかったわ。ようやくみんなと馴染んできたと思ったのにいなくなってしまうだなんて。それで彼女は最後にこう言ったの。
言っときますけど、私つむぐさんを異性としては見ていませんよ。まあいい人だとは思ってますが。だから先生、つむぐさんのことお願いしますね。
That little.
もちろん 小泉さんに言われる前からあなたへの気持ちはあったけど、彼女の言葉が少なからず背中を押してくれていたのは確かなのよ。なんでかしら。彼女の言葉はどこか懐かしい不思議な説得力を持っているのよね。ごめんなさい。せっかく二人きりなのに締めっぽい話をしちゃって。
No, that's okay. I'm the one who told you not to hold back when we're together. You can talk about whatever you want.
そうだったわね。
Said the same thing to me once before, didn't you, sensei? So I don't have to hold back either, do I?
今は何を我慢しているの？
Seeing you make such a sad expression is making me want to cherish you even more than
さ
before.
っき以上？
Like this.
ずるいわ、つむぐくん。
What isn't?
私のこといじめてるでしょ。
I prefer to call it being
日
affectionate.
本語って綺麗よね。
If anyone, it was probably my modern Japanese teacher.
つむぐくん、なんだか余裕そうよね。私なんかもうドキドキしてしょうがないのに。
Placed a hand against her ample chest, fidgeting shyly. That's not true.
そうなの？
I'm probably even more agitated than you are, especially down here.
あそこって。
Upon noticing the Excalibur in my pants, she began to tremble.
でもその
Obviously, I wouldn't want to force you to do something like this. So even though you told me not to, I'll hold myself back if you don't want to.
そうよね。あなたも男の子だもんね。
So that confirms it. The earlier scene wasn't an H scene. We don't have to go back. Okay, lovely. Kotohina?
そのままにしておくと辛いでしょ。私で気持ちよくなれるっていうのなら協力してあげたいと思
Why do
うし。
when these visual novels always the same, like, oh, this must be so hard to bear, we gotta help you. Yes, you just gotta like sit around for like a couple of fucking minutes, just try to ignore it and it'll be gone. Like, come on, you can tell her that. It wouldn't feel good unless it was you. It wouldn't feel good unless it was you.
それなら我慢しなくていいよ。
Kotohina! Before I knew it, I'd pushed her down onto the bed again. And then they fucked. Still somewhere between consciousness and unconsciousness, I opened my eyes. After spacing out for some time, my thoughts eventually organized themselves as I recalled what I had been doing. Beside me was the boy who had made love to me just a short while ago, sleeping peacefully on his side. Consciously, I reached out and stroked his cheek.
つむぐくん。
As I caressed him, for some reason tears began to spill from my eyes.
ダメね。私は
No matter how many times I wiped them away, they refused to stop.
私は幸せになっちゃいけないのに。でもこんな気持ち初めてで。どうしたらいいの？
Ale just crashes through the window. Stop being a fucking baby!
夜になっちゃったわね。
By the time we'd woken up after our lovemaking, night had already fallen in earnest.
妹さん心配してるんじゃない？大丈夫？
That's fine, I told her I'd be back late tonight. That said, it would save me the trouble of having to walk home at night if you were to let me stay over.
ちょっと卑怯よ、その言い方。
She looked at me with exasperation.
ジャージまた貸してあげるから泊まっていきなさい。
I appreciate it. I get to wear Kotohina's clothes again, huh? Crap, just thinking about it is making me a little hard. Even though I already came so much earlier.
とりあえずご飯の用意をしないとね。また作ってあげるから待ってて。
Let me help. I'm sure you're pretty tired
大
too.
丈夫よ。本棚の漫画でも読んでゆっくりしてて。
Looked to where she pointed, and sure enough, there was a large bookshelf full of manga. That is not a large bookshelf full of manga. My eyes widened at the sheer number of volumes she owned. Damn, look at all 30 of them. I don't buy manga, and I probably have, like, at the very least, half that. You really do love reading manga,
や
huh?
っぱり大人が漫画読んでるとおかしい？
Not at all. It's got content for anyone of all ages to enjoy. Speaking of which, you once said that you started reading manga because a friend introduced you to it. A friend of
エリの
yours?
ことよ。
Thought I might have overstepped a bit, but Kotohina smiled gently in
仲良
response.
くなり始めた頃に少年漫画を勧められたの。しつこかったからしぶしぶ読み始めたんだけど、そしたら思いのほかハマっちゃって。
Judy must have been happy as well to have another friend who shared her
ほん
interests.
とね。あの子、漫画の話になると途端に情熱的になるところがあってね。漫画は元気をもらえるんです。友情、努力、勝利なんてことをいつも言っていたの。
Sound like something that Dale would... Huh. I feel like already heard that line once before somewhere. Was it Ale who said it?
とにかく、つむぐくんは漫画でも読んでて。ささっと作っちゃうから。
Alright, thank you.
俺のキューピッドがポンコツすぎて怖い。
Now the Golden Week was over, it was back to routine as usual. Now I was eating breakfast while lamenting the fact that Kotohina and I had only been able to see each other twice over the holidays. But the cooking was delicious today too. No, not as quite as good as Kotohina's.
何か言いました？
Still, I'd be able to see her at school whenever I wanted to or not. Come to think of it, I'd be able to see her more if I did than I did over the holidays. Couldn't wait.
兄さんがキモい。おはよう、つむぐ。おはようございます、先輩。
For some reason, Kosuke peered curiously at my face as she greeted me. Morning, Kosuke. Masura. It's not often to see you two walking to school together.
そこで偶然会ったんだよ。どうせだから一緒に行こうってなって。
See? By the way, I wanted to say sorry to both of you for not being able to come into work so very much during Golden Week.
いえ、それは全然いいのですが。
Although things always got super busy during the holidays, Kino had been flexible enough to allow me to take most of the week off. I owed her and everyone else a lot.
もう大丈夫そうですね。昨日バイトで一緒になった時も元気そうだったし、もう立ち直れたのかな。
What? It's not like I was depressed or anything in the first place. There definitely had been some reason Love Meal had to leave. Given how much of an airhead she is, she probably wasn't able to explain it properly, which is why she had to be so hard-headed about it. That had to be it.
くるるちゃん。それにまたいるんですか。なんかうたちゃん、僕に対する扱いひどくない？兄さんをたぶらかす女は全員敵なので。それじゃあ永遠に和解できないじゃん。
First of all, you're not even a woman.
おはよう、みんな。
おはようございます、先生。
みんなで登校してきたの？相変わらず仲良しね。佐久間くんも、おはよう。
Good morning, Minakoshi. I did my best to swallow the joy I felt at seeing her. We were only supposed to be lovers outside of school after all. Once we passed through the school gates, we were back to being teacher and student.
今の空気、先輩、マジですか？
Kudo's just over, like he's just like, okay, just gotta calm down, not sure anything. Hey there, how's it going? Kudo's over here like, oh my god, they were roommates. Okay. Hold on, Kosugi, I guess it's no surprise by now, but it's scary how perceptive you are. How was she even able to tell?
いつかは話聞かせてくださいね。
I will, sometime.
つむぐ、何慌ててるの？
Nothing, I was just thinking about how delicious Uta's breakfast was this morning.
兄さんってば素直。 女が嫉妬すると怖いですよ。
Oh crap! The day began noisily. Morning homeroom and modern Japanese afterwards. My lovely girlfriend stood at the teacher's podium.
それではここで虎となった李長が歌った詩について深く掘り下げていきましょう。注目すべきは2行目。再感愛よりて逃るべからずですが、
Kotohina, she's just so cute. All the more when I watched her from like this from my seat. She was a bright young teacher who was popular with both boys and girls. But while she acted all prim and proper while at school, she was willing to let her hair down when she was together with me. I was the only one who knew that side of her. Crap, I'm getting excited. My heart churned with immoral thoughts. Couldn't contain my arousal. I wonder if there was some way I could find some alone time with Kotohina after this.
つむちゃんたら
Huh?
佐久間くん
Ah! Kotohina, or rather Minakoshi, was walking right up to me. Something like this had happened
また
before.
ぼーっとしてたわね。ダメじゃないの。
Sorry. I was certain she was about to poke me in the forehead again. But she didn't.
ノートもしっかり取っておくのよ。ここ次のテストに出るんだからね。
Blushing ever so slightly, she returned to the front of the class. Cute.
たくま、お前先生に嫌われてんじゃないか？当たり強かったもんな。ざまあみろだ。
Apparently that's how it seemed to the people around us. Poor idiots. They didn't even realize she was just trying to hide her embarrassment.
佐久間くんってば、授業中私のこといやらしい目で見てたでしょ。
You're being paranoid. I mean, I wasn't minding how cute you were, but still.
それがいけないって言ってるの？
Why not? Because it's embarrassing?
あなたのその目を見ると、この前のことを思い出しちゃうのよ。
She rumbled shyly, rubbing her thighs together. It wasn't fair how sexy was, especially since she seemed to be doing it unconsciously.
というより、本当はいけないのよ。こうやって学園で二人きりになるなんて。
It's all like that. I just came to ask you for some career counseling.
本当に？
I lied, sorry. Making up an excuse just so we could be alone together. I really was acting like some perverted brat. The other guys in class wouldn't be very amused. But to be fair, I really would like to discuss my future plans with you. I still haven't decided what I want to do after graduating.
それならいいわ。何でも相談してちょうだい。
Plus, the longer we talk, the more time I'll get to spend with you.
佐久間くん？
Sorry. I better stop teasing her before she kicks me out. So, just for my own reference, how long do you plan to continue being a teacher, Kotohina? This was a serious question. I've been curious about the answer ever since she told me the reason she became a teacher in the first
い
place.
つまでね。考えてもなかったけど、少なくともエリが目覚めるまでは何があってもやめるつもりはないわ。
See? This Eriamaki person really was deeply entwined with Kotohina's life after all. You told me it was her dream to become a teacher, right? That's why you always studied together.
そうね。教師の勉強は進学してからでもできるけど、専門科目の勉強は今のうちにやっておいた方がいいから。もしかして興味持った？
After watching you a little bit, I've come to admire your job of guiding other people.
私はそんな大層なことできてないけどね。とにかく教師を目指すというなら応援するわ。でも大変よ。それだけは覚悟しておくことね。
Especially if I end up having relationships with my students.
佐久間くん？
Sorry for keeping you so late.
いいのよ。実は今の時期って一日中指導室が空いていることも珍しくないの。
Really? What happened to all the 30 years?
みんな夏頃になって焦り出すから、2年生の春から将来を考えて相談しに来る子なんてこの学園ではあなたくらいよ。
Kotohina giggled softly. I wasn't sure if that was a compliment or... but that didn't matter. What did matter was, I see. So you're saying there's nobody around?
そうね。って佐久間くん、あなた何を考えて。
Pulling her to a hug, I buried my face into her neck. Taking a deep whiff, I filled my nose with a sweet fragrance until it felt as though my brain was melting. There's nobody around and there is nothing stopping us from doing this, is there?
ダメよ。学園内なんだから。誰かに見られたら。それに学園ではしないって約束したでしょ?
I'm sorry, but I just can't help myself. It really doesn't seem like there's anyone here at the moment, so can't I kiss you just once?
キス? そんなことされたら。
Kotohina?
さくらくん。どこが1階なのよ。
I know, but your lips just tasted so good. I want to do it more.
さすがにそれは。
Calm with thine fucking penis!
やだ。もう。
And then they fucked.
おかしくなっちゃう。
One kiss easily turned it to 100, and we ultimately had to stop there. But we ultimately had to stop there. After all, if we went any further, we'd probably end up going all the way. However, so this is what it's like to be in a relationship with the teacher I've always had a crush on, huh? As I made my way home alone, the thought suddenly struck me. Just how fulfilled I felt. He was so cute and beautiful and devoted and kind. Her breasts were big, her lips were soft, and she smelled wonderful too. She pampered me when I needed pampering, and I didn't need to hold myself back around her either. She was the perfect girlfriend. But that said, can't let things stay the way they are. It's almost been a week since we'd started dating. We'd kissed, had sex, and confirmed our feelings for one another more than enough. Yet even so, according to the Love Note's most recent evaluation...
峰越琴ひな運命度90
Our fate has continued to hover around 90 this entire time, but this wasn't surprising.
私は幸せになっちゃいけないのに。でも
He was awake!
どうしたらいいの？エリー。
The night after we'd first made love. Truth was, I'd overheard Kotohina talking to herself. It sounded as though this Eriamaki still held a tremendous sway over her after all. In Kotohina's mind, her guilt towards Eriamaki was far stronger than her feelings towards me. She felt that it was wrong to find her own happiness while leaving her best friend behind. That's why she won't say I love you. Even now, Kotohina has yet to say those 3 words to me. In fact, since our relationship had started, neither of us had explicitly confessed to each other, as it were. But if my goal was to reach 100 fate in this with her, I had to make myself so important to Kotohina that she would have no choice but to say I love you. In order to do that, Eriamaki, I need to face her myself. The moment I got home, I pulled out the love note. Normally I'd write down the name of the person I loved most, but today I put down the name of a completely different woman. If Kotohina were to see this, she might think I was cheating on her. But you'd have to forgive me just this once. Eriamaki remained comatose in the hospital to this day. If only I could read her mind, that would be the easiest solution. Obviously that wasn't possible, but while I couldn't do that, I did have a hunch. There was a way I could talk to her one more time. The love note began to glow. Alongside the familiar name I'd scribbled down, the answer I was looking for soon appeared. The chilly night wind pressed against my back. Beyond the now lifeless park, the still faintly lit hospital building stood out against the darkness. As though guided by its light, I walked onward, until finally I came across the person I was searching for. That's where Eriamaki sleeps to this day, isn't it?
いつ気づきました？
Around the time you left, I didn't have any evidence though, so I wasn't completely sure. But since you told me that you didn't have any memories but you once told me that you didn't have any memories from before you became an angel, it occurred to me that what you meant was that you had lost your memories of when you used to be a human. Once I thought about it that way, a lot of dots started to connect.
つむぐさんにしては勘が冴えてますね。でもラブコメ主人公はもっと鈍感であるべきですよ。
Well, sorry, I don't know all the rules. Didn't ask to be the protagonist, you know. Instead of going out with Kotohina, thanks to you.
さて、何のことでしょう？
Yes, you do. Kotohina couldn't help but see echoes of her old friend in you. Every time she looked at you, she would end up thinking about the past, and so you thought you were only getting in the way of our relationship. That's why you decided to leave. Goddamn idiot!
そこ褒めるとこじゃないんですか？おかげで付き合えたんですよね、お二人は。
All you did was offer a temporary solution that didn't solve the underlying problem.
それは。
Even after you left, Kotohina continued to let herself be weighed down by Eriamaki, which is why I want to be able to talk to her just once. This Eriamaki person. Though I suppose there's no need to refer to her in third person anymore, is there?
その方が違和感ないのでいいですよ。
Lovemeal smiled, quietly nodding her head.
私自身も気づいたのは本当に最近です。どうやら人間だった頃の記憶は消されていたみたいで。ただ、琴雛先生、琴雛と接していくうちに少しずつは思い出してきて、それで調べてみたら分かったんです。あの日、自分がポカして事故っちゃったことが、琴雛が罪悪感を抱えているのは私のせいですけど、でも今の私にはどうすることもできません。だから紡さんに託すしかなかったんです。あなたなら琴雛を解放してくれると思って。
You really do love her, don't you?
親友ですからね。
Lovemeal had been praying for Kotohina's happiness all this time, just like I was right now.
でも今は行き詰まっちゃってるんでしたっけ？
That's right, because the relationship between you and Kotohina is still so strong, our fate just hasn't been able to make any progress at all. Honestly, it's making me kind of jealous.
当たり前ですよ。私と琴雛の友情に紡さんごときが入れる隙はありません。
Listen, you little...
だから押しのけちゃってください。もう何年も話していない私のことなんかポイって。今琴雛を支えられるのは紡さんしかいないんですから。俺のことだけを見ろなんて言ってかっこよく決めちゃってくださいよ。そうして琴雛の人生の一部になってあげてください。琴雛の恋人として。
She really hadn't changed one bit. Despite only being such an airhead, she was some of the most reassuring person to have on my side whenever it mattered the most. She was reckless, annoying, and always gratingly cheerful. But it was that innocent naivete that saved us. Kotohina back then, and me in this moment. Of course, I'd love to mean more to Kotohina than you do to her one day. But if you ask me, I don't think that's the same thing as just brushing you aside. When I first heard Eriamaki's story, I was under the impression that Kotohina was chained to her by her past. That's why I told her that she didn't need to hold back with me and wanted to free her from those shackles. However, lately I began to realize that wasn't the case. I actually loved the way Kotohina cared so deeply about her friend. If Eriamaki was the reason Kotohina became the person she is, and the reason she felt so inextricably attached to her, then I love Kotohina's feelings as much as I loved Kotohina herself. And that's why I pray for your happiness too, Eriamaki. As I continue to cherish Kotohina, I will continue to pray for your happiness as well.
吹っ切れたような顔をしてますね。
You probably noticed already, but Kotohina once scolded me trying to speak on Eriamaki's behalf. And well, she wasn't wrong.
なるほど。だから琴雛に告白する前に私に会いに来たんですね。
Yeah, but thanks to you, I've made up my mind now. Figured out what it was I wanted to say to her.
それならよかったです。最後まで恋のキューピッドができましたね。
Say, Lovemeal, you once told me that your own wish would come true once you helped me forget my faithfulness of 100, didn't you? Is that wish of yours? I began to speak, but then swallowed the rest of my words. Asking her if that was pointless. The happiness that Lovemeal wished for wasn't something I even needed to ask to know. Lovemeal? So instead I changed my question. This time I asked with a smile. Did you have fun working as an angel?
もちろん。とても楽しくて、まだまだやり足りないくらいですよ。でも、もう満足です。今は終わりにしたいと思っています。
See? Thank you. That brief answer was enough for me. That was all I needed to hear. Both the feelings and the ropes. I now fully understood.
琴雛のこと、任せていいですか？
Yeah, leave it to me. She's the woman I love after all. I'll find a way to settle this on my own. So at the very least, I'll be able to open her eyes just a little to watch over us. A faint smile crossed her lips as though she got my joke. With that one final look, I turned around and began walking away. See you later, love meal.
はい。またねです。つむぐさん、今までありがとうございました。
峰越琴ひな、運命度90、1ヶ月後誕生日。何かプレゼントしてあげるといいかも。
No kidding! I'd asked her about it the day we started going out. Sure enough, Kotina's birthday was exactly 1 month from now. Obviously, I was planning to get her some, though I hadn't decided exactly what yet. Speaking of birthdays, though.
エリが事故に遭ってしまったのは、あの日、彼女を呼び出した私のせいなの。
Watch him go to the house and also get into an accident, but he is, like, turned to a vegetable.
私がエリを誕生日会に呼ばなければ、こんなことにはならなかった。
Like she just rushes to hospital completely worried and she's like already on like a hospital bed with like a broken with like a fucking broken arm or something like and a broken leg or something like that and just thankfully fine aside from that and just sits there like, you know what? You admonished me for trying to speak on his behalf before, but I feel like I understand where she's coming from pretty well at this point. Stop being a baby. This isn't your fault. I was the moron that didn't look left and right before crossing the road. Also, my shoulder hurts and I can't scratch it. Can you like help, please? Given what happened, I get the feeling Kotohina doesn't look forward to her birthdays all that much. If anything, it probably just makes her start blaming herself all over again. So that's how it is, huh? Telling me to sell things once and for all on her birthday. Look at it another way, this would be my last chance to bring Kotohina around. I'd be rendered impotent by this time next year if I waited till then. Guess there's no choice. I'll just have to open up Kotohina's heart, no matter what it takes.
好きな人から誕生日にもらって嬉しいプレゼントですか？
Guess I'll just have to open up Kotohina's heart, no matter what it takes. Yeah, as a girl, what kind of present would you want to get? Next morning, I immediately consulted my sister for advice. Normally, I should be coming up with some kind of present to get my girlfriend on my own. But this time, I wasn't giving her a present to satisfy myself. It was a present to open up her heart. I didn't want to give her something selfish. I wanted to give her something that had a lot of thought put into it. So it's one of my pride to decide to ask anyone and everyone I could for help.
私物欲はない方ですし、誕生日以外なら新しいレシピ集とか欲しいですけど、やっぱり物をもらうよりも私は好きな人と一緒に入れたら嬉しいですね。
See, I hadn't thought of that. It's a bit of a sappy, love-struck girl sort of answer, but perhaps she was on something. Maybe instead of simply spending time together, I could give her a present that promised we would be together forever.
というか兄さん、どうしてそんなことを聞くんです？まさか私の誕生日に兄さん自身をプレゼントして
No, that's not gonna happen. It's always best to get multiple opinions, so that's what I did.
好きな人から何をもらったら嬉しいかねえ、それも誕生日にでしょ？
Yeah, what do you think?
そういえばこの前陸上部の子になぜかスパイクもらっちゃったんだよね。
は？
でも新しく買い替えたばかりだったからいらなくて、 しかもサイズ合ってなかったし。
What's your point?
何ってただの世間話。
But I'm to answer my question. What is it, Saijo?
別にあなたたちの会話が気になって見てたとか。
Son! I didn't say anything about that, but okay.
西条さんはどう？誕生日に何もらったら嬉しい？私よくお父さんの知り合いから物をもらうんだけど、香水とかお花ばかりなのよ。
Seems pretty fitting for a young lady from a wealthy family.
それだけの理由でプレゼントを選ばれるのは尺よね。
See, it seemed that people rarely reacted positively when gifting things they were already gifted things they were already accustomed to. Suppose that was the point of Izu's story about her cleats too. Thanks for the help, you too.
プレゼントの相談を僕にするとは。もしかして紡ぐ、ついに僕のことを恋愛対象として。
You know what, at this point I probably am just doing the Masura joke route. Like, just for the fuck of it. Just answer the question and explain later. Although Masura was a guy, more or less, he did have a maiden's heart, so to speak.
正直、僕なんかに聞くよりは、ちゃんと相手が何を欲しがっているかを考えた方がいいんじゃないかな。
Well, I suppose. He made an extremely sound, unexpectedly sound argument.
女の子って好きな人にどういうことをしてほしいかを常々考えているから、紡ぐ自身がそれを汲み取ってあげるのが一番だと思うよ。それで紡ぐは僕に何をくれるのかな。
For the last time, this isn't about you. Next at
峰
work.
越先生が誕生日にもらって喜ぶ贈り物ですか。
Didn't specify who. All I said is someone important to me. I wish she wouldn't keep doing that. Her intuition was far too accurate.
先輩はその日を特別なものにしたいんですよね。
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
そうなると消耗品とかだと少し儚いですよね。ちゃんと形があるもので一生残るような贈り物にしたいところです。
See? That makes sense. Though she wasn't Saiju, I doubt receiving perfume or flowers would mean very much to her either. I want to give her something that would last. Lastly, I asked Kino the same question I'd asked the others, but
現金がいいな。もちろん諭吉。
I don't know why I bothered. What kind of person would give their girlfriend cash for their birthday?
大金であればあるほど気持ちが伝わってくるし、もらった女の子は嬉しいと思うぞ。
I think that's only you. I suppose I'll take her advice to me and get her something expensive. Oh, by the way, I've increased the number of shifts I'm taking for the next month or so, you might have to reorganize our schedules.
ああ、さっき確認したが、いきなりどうしたんだ？シフト増やしたり、プレゼントがどうのと聞いてきたり。ん？1ヶ月？もしやお前。
Alright, back to it! I'll get these plates cleared away. Kino's just over here like, I'm fucking watching you. Huh? Figure walking towards me was Ushiro.
やあ、つむぐくん。バイト上がりかな？
The fuck are you doing here? Didn't know the heavenly bureaucracy had days off. Yeah, you're just about to start, aren't you?
夜勤でね。
Gotta think that Ushiro and I haven't had any shifts together at all lately. Don't really see him much at school either, so it feels as though it's actually been quite a while since we've spoken.
何か悩み事でもあるのかな？
Oh, you could tell, huh? To be honest, I've been thinking about what to give the person I like for a birthday to make her happy.
それは幸せな悩みだね。
Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess. Incidentally, what do you think I should give her, senpai? Ushiro?
運命を書き換えてしまうほどの強い思い。
What?
君は今、自分の愛する人のために途方もない運命に立ち向かおうとしているね。
Listen. Can you, like, not speak in riddles right now?
その気持ちだよ。人を思う思い、情愛。それがひいては、君と思い人をつなげるくさびとなる。人が人を思う尊い気持ちは、 必ず相手にも伝わる。己の情愛を信じてそのまま突き進むといい。
Right. Thanks? Though I didn't quite get it, I got the feeling that he was cheering me on.
僕もこのような姿でこの地に降り立ったけれど、ついぞ最後まで手を出すことはなさそうだ。エイル君のこと感謝しているよ。ありがとう。
Huh?
それじゃあね。
Hold on a minute, Ushiro? Heedless to my call, he disappeared into the night. Ushiro. Like I remained a complete mystery to me at the very end. Somehow I felt I understood what it was he wanted to say. Believe in myself, huh? Thank you, Ushiro. One month later, Kotina's long-awaited birthday finally arrived. In hand, I held a small gift box. I had taken on so many shifts, as many shifts as I could these past few weeks, working myself to the bone for this day. My only regret was that this meant I hadn't been able to spend more time with Kotohina. If everything went well today, that regret would turn to a sense of accomplishment.
Sakuma-kun, もう来てたのね?
I feel like it isn't the best idea for them to meet outside, considering they're a student-teacher couple. Hello, sensei. After school, the two of us met up at the local park. Since there were other people around, we were careful not to use each other's first names. Naturally, it wasn't the ideal date we had in mind, but rather we had something very important to do.
それじゃあ、行きましょうか。
Yeah. This was a place we had been going almost every day last year. I've been visiting somewhat frequently as well lately, but one slight change now made the place seem completely different to
け
me.
れど、一体どうしたの？急にエリに会いたいだなんて言い出して。
Kotohina suddenly asked me after we finished signing in at the front desk. Well, I've been meaning to meet her at least once someday.
何度も言ってるけど、小泉さんとそっくりだから、あまり驚かないようにね。
Got it.
エリ、私よ。入るわね。
Despite knowing that no one would answer, Kotohina called out politely before opening the door. Following suit, I straightened up myself before entering the room. The faint smell of sterility was somewhat nostalgic. A moment later, my eyes fell upon the very familiar-looking young woman quietly asleep upon the spotless white hospital bed.
また来たわよ、エリ。
She called out gently to the girl. There was no response. There was only the scarcely audible sound of her slow, steady breathing.
この子が天木エリ。小泉さんにそっくりでしょ？
Yeah, you're right.
ずっと眠っているの。もうすぐ10年になるわね。
For a little while after that, Kotohina continued talking to Eriamaki about the things going on in her life lately and the struggles of being a teacher. She also introduced me as one of her students. Understandably, she didn't mention that we were in love or that I was a boyfriend or anything, but perhaps due to the rays of the setting sun shining through the windows, Kotohina's face seemed to be filled with tragic sorrow. As I stared at her from the side, I suddenly made up my mind.
エリが事故に遭ってしまったのは、あの日、彼女を呼び出した私のせいなの。私がエリを誕生日会に呼ばなければ、こんなことにはならなかった。私は、エリの分まで、エリのしたかったことを成し遂げる必要があるの。奪ってしまったエリの夢を、私が責任を持って成し遂げなければいけないの。教師として。エリが目指していた教師はきっと今の私みたいなものじゃないわよね。佐久間くんの一言でそれに気づかされたわ。おかげで私もっと頑張らなきゃって思ったの。生徒に不安を与えないような強い先生にならなきゃ。私は幸せになっちゃいけないのに。でもこんな気持ち初めてね。どうしたらいいの？エリ、
Recalled the days I'd spent with Kotohina these past several weeks. Though these memories, throughout these memories, her grief-filled expression appeared again and again. I made up my mind, Eriamaki. I'm about to show you just how determined I am. I hope you're watching. After clearing those words aloud in my mind, I summoned up my courage and opened my mouth. Kotohina, I want you to have something. From my pocket, I took out a small box I brought with me and held it out to her. BAM! I opened the lid. Inside was a simple silver ring inlaid with a small moonstone, the gem signifying the month of Kotohina's birth.
つむぐくん、どういうつもり？こんなものをいきなり。
Today's birthday, after all. This is my present to you. Our initials are engraved onto this ring.
そういうことを聞いてるんじゃないわ。どうして今ここでそれを渡すのと聞いているの？
She seemed somewhat upset, but I expected this. Because it wouldn't have any meaning otherwise. If I didn't do this in front of Ada, I wouldn't be able to show you how serious I am.
本気？
Kotohina, ever since we started dating, you've been more consumed with your guilt towards Iri than you have with our relationship. You convinced yourself that you had no right to find your own happiness while Iri remained asleep. At first I thought I had to save you from that way of thinking. But I was wrong. You don't need saving. I realized how admirable it is that you continue to care for Iri even after all this time, and I want to support you. Because it was all of us, Iri included, to be able to find happiness. That's why I had her initials engraved onto this ring as well. No longer did I want to reject what was important to her, nor did I want to deny it. Instead, I wanted to understand and share it with her. You told me before that Iri had gotten into her accident on the day of your birthday. So every day when your birthday comes around, you think back on what happened, don't you? That's why you always come to see her like you did today. Once I realized that, I decided to come along with you today as well, so that you wouldn't be alone. Kotohina, if your birthday brings you nothing but painful memories every year, then let me remember them with you. Let me share that pain with you. I don't want you to carry this burden alone. That's what this ring represents. Illuminated by the setting sun, the moonstone glitters softly, almost as though to emphasize itself. So please, till the day Iri opens her eyes, just let me stay by your side.
つむぐくん。
I wanted Iri to hear this too. The words you were never able to say to me. The words I'd been too stubborn to say to you too. I love you, Kotohina. More than anyone in the world. Kotohina's eyes flew wide open. I could see the corners of her eyes starting to gleam.
本当にあなたって怖。
You know, I'm sorry for surprising you.
そうね。突然だったけれど。
Tears streamed down her cheeks. She stared at the ring I held out to her.
いいのかな？受け取ってももういいのかな？我慢しなくて。
I'll be here for you to lean on from now on. Let's both pray for Eddie's recovery together. Doesn't sound so bad if you ask me.
ずるいわ。エリの前でそんなこと言われたら断れないじゃない。こんな状況、エリならきっと生やし立てると思うもの。
That's a good idea, she says. What? She smiled as she wiped away her tears. At this moment, she looked even more beautiful than ever before. Give me your hand, Kotohina. Small pale light glimmered on Kotohina's finger. It was the ring with my, Kotohina's, and Eiri's names engraved upon it. As it settled itself onto her finger, it finally seemed to begin shining in earnest. For this, I'd now done everything I could do. All that was left was to wait for a miracle.
ラブノートが輝いてるね。めでたく、あの二人の運命度が100になった証だ。
The Archangel's voice came from behind me. I suppose he must have come to see for himself. What finally became of Tsubuku and Kotohina.
これで君も任務から解放される。心残りはないかい？
はい、ありません。こんなにも幸せな気持ちで恋天使の最後を迎えられるんですから、むしろ嬉しいくらいです。みんなが私を思ってくれて、みんなが私の幸せを祈ってくれて、 紡さんにも琴ひなにも感謝しかありません。恋天使になれてよかったです。
そう言ってもらえるとこちらとしても嬉しい。では祈りなさい、恋天使ラブミエール。光まとうラブチャームにあなたの願いを込めるのです。
ねえ琴ひな、最後に私の話を聞いてくれる？琴ひな、あなたは昔から変わらないよね。私が構ってあげなきゃ一人ぼっちを貫くくせに、私にはべったりになったりとか、一人で責任を抱え込んじゃうところも昔と全然変わってない。そうやって変わらないなりにずっと私のことを思ってくれていたんだよね。この10年ずっと一人にしてごめんね。辛かったよね。苦しかったよね。自分の幸せもかなぐり捨てて私の代わりに教師にもなって、よくここまで頑張ってきたね、たった一人で。でもあなたはもう一人じゃない。立派な彼氏がそばにいるんでしょ。一途にあなたを愛して支えてくれる彼氏がいるんだよ。彼のことは私もよく知ってるの。太鼓判を押してあげるから安心して付き合ってよ。だからね琴ひな、もう自分の幸せから逃げないで。今まで私のために頑張ってくれた分いっぱい幸せになってよ。そうやってあなたたちが笑っていてくれれば、私もひょっこりそこに顔を出してあげるから。心配しなくてもまた会えるから。奇跡の力よ、どうか琴ひなと紡さんにあるべき幸せをもたらしてください。
What's the matter?
いえ、今声が聞こえたような。
A voice. Looked around, but there was nobody here except us. But for some reason, I had a hunch I knew whose voice it was. There was only one idiot I knew who was tactless enough to interrupt our moment like this. Though I couldn't quite seem to recall that person's name, I had a feeling it was most likely her. Or so I thought as I watched the glowing sunset. And that's what had happened.
今の声。
Just now, was that? I was not mistaken. I'd heard it too. Trembling, I turned to look towards the bed. There the girl continued laying quietly asleep. And faintly, ever so faintly, I could see her lips beginning to stir.
もしかしてこんな奇跡があるの？
I was so shocked that I couldn't speak. And this girl who had been asleep for 10 years, still waiting for this precise moment all along, she had finally made a sound. Maybe just congratulating us, you and me.
本当にこんな時までエリらしいんだから。
Large droplets beaded at the corner of her eyes, as though her overflowing emotions were manifesting themselves as tears. Let's find happiness together, Kotohina. Not just two of us, but with Eri too.
今まで言えなくてごめんなさい。大好きよ、つむぐくん。
What? Hold on. It just showed me an error notification, and I'm scared that if I press OK here, it'll immediately close the game. It sure did. But alas, I was prepared, you fool. It's like fucking...
ユラッタ、
There is actually an achievement for Masura's route, I think.
俺のキューピッドがポンコツすぎて待ってたよ。
Just
この
noticed.
データを兄さんのためにロードしましたよ。
One fine early afternoon, I was on my way to pay a visit to the hospital. I had an appointment with a certain young woman. I'm here. Can I come in?
はい、
How are you feeling?
なんともありません。もうパッチ氏会長です。
She flexed both her arms in the air, showing off like a child might. It's been roughly 2 months or so since Kotohina and I started dating. The girl who had been in a coma for all these years, Eriamaki, had miraculously opened her eyes and was now well on her way to making a full recovery. Apparently she would likely be discharged from the hospital this summer, even earlier than expected.
それでつむぐさんは最近どうなんですか？
Same old, same old.
相変わらず琴ひなとイチャイチャしてるんですか？
She smirked as she asked. It was strange, despite the fact she was supposedly older than me. It felt like I was talking to a girl much my own age. Oh, you know, I guess.
素敵です。
After Eddie had woken up, it was as though an enormous weight had been lifted from Kotoria's shoulder. She became much more cheerful and much more proactive in her affections towards me. For all the time we could flirt with each other, we couldn't flirt each other at school. We spent our weekends at her place making love until the hours passed us by. And every time Kotohina would repeat the words "I love you" over and over again until her voice went hoarse.
いいなあ。私も恋人が欲しいな。ねえつむぐさん、いつもどうやって琴ひなとイチャイチャしてるか教えてくれません？
Are you serious?
恋人ができたらこんなことするんだろうなってことを今のうちに予習しておきたいんですよ。
Sorry, but I'll have to ask someone else, Kotohina and I. Ah! She suddenly leapt towards me, catching me off guard.
こうやっていつも抱き合ってるんでしょ？いいなあ。
Why can't I hear boss music all of a sudden? Don't give me that, get off! If someone were to see us like this, say. That's why I heard the boss music. God truly had no mercy.
二人とも何してるの？
Kotohina fixed me with the coldest stare I'd ever seen. I was genuinely terrified.
つむぐさんにいずれできる赤ちゃんを抱く練習を。
Yeah, nobody's buying that. I peeled Eddie off me and tossed her back onto the bed.
浮気？そう、浮気なのね。
Absolutely not. Please stop giving me that look.
ごめんね琴ひな。私も二人のことが羨ましくなってさ。普段どういうイチャイチャしてるのか知りたかったの。やっぱり浮気じゃない。
No, I had no part in this whatsoever.
エリもエリよ。またつむぐくんをたぶらかして。
Again?
前にも言ったわよね。私のつむぐくんに何かしたらもう勉強見てあげないよって。
ごめん琴ひな。マジで謝るからそれだけは勘弁して。
These past few weeks, Kotohina had been helping Edie catch up on all the studying she'd missed out on until now. Even though she had been in the same grade as me when her education stopped, a lot had changed with our curriculum in the past 10 years. But that wasn't the only reason.
まったく、あなた教師になるんでしょ？今からそんなのでどうするのよ。
また説教が始まった。
つむぐくんも。
Ah, me?
あなたも教師を目指してるんでしょ？エリに乗せられたからって不死だらなことをしちゃダメじゃない。
I'm sorry. And lastly, I had also finally decided on my career path as well. I too wanted to be a teacher just like Kotohina. I wanted to be someone who offered others
ま
guidance.
ったくもう。それじゃあエリ、今日の勉強始めるわよ。つむぐくんを誘惑した罰として厳しくいくからね。
まだ引きずってるし、許してよ琴ひな。
つむぐくんも後でお仕置きしちゃうからね。
Huh? My so-called punishment would come later that evening. After we said our goodbyes to Edie, Kotohina half dragged me all the way to her apartment. A few days later, Eri was discharged from the hospital and happily made her return to Konohana Academy as a second-year student. Put me in the same class. Put into the same class as me. She spent her days at Kotohina's side, as though making up for all the time she had lost. For I knew it, the seasons had gone by, and then third year, and then graduation, all in the blink of an eye. Eri and I both made it into our universities of choice. While diligently pursuing our studies, we continued having fun every day. One thing that did come as a shock, however, was that Kotohina decided to retire from being a school teacher at the same time we graduated. She now made a living working as a cram school teacher in her hometown. Although I told her she might as well have stayed at Konohana if she was going to continue teaching anyway. Kotohina stubbornly refused and chose to step down from the podium. I can't continue teaching here when I'm married to one of my own recently graduated students. This was Kotohina's reasoning when she offered her resignation to the school. That's right. Although I was still a student, Kotohina and I had decided to get married. The church bells resounded overhead. This is the only route. Actually, no. Not the only route. There's like a mock ceremony in Uta's route, but it's not an actual ceremony, so they didn't actually get married. And they are married in Rinka's route, so forget what I said. So 2 out of 4, 2 out of 6, 2 out of 6, 2 out of 6. Church bells resounded overhead, chiming its blessing upon us as we began our new life together. Finally made it, huh?
いろいろあったけれど、この日を迎えられて本当に良かった。
It's too early to start crying.
わかっているわ。さあ、行きましょう。コトヒナ、本当におめでとう。とっても綺麗だよ。エリー。
Former students and former classmates. Familiar faces surrounded us on all sides as we walked down the wedding aisle. I recognized each and every one of them, remembering how we'd met and all the memories we'd made.
しかし、未だに信じられんな。あの牧年人の紡ぐがまさか琴ひなを射止めるとは。
Kino. Looking at his old classmates, my old boss was there too. I really owed her a lot.
紡ぐ、かっこいいよ。僕もキュンキュンしちゃうくらいかっこいい。峰越先生ほどの人ならしょうがないとはいえ、やっぱ寂しいですよ、兄さん。
Jesus Christ, Uta.
どううたちゃん、いつでも遊びに来ていいって言われたんでしょ。
Uta had also successfully moved on to university, which I was truly glad to see.
つむちゃん、先生、おめでとう。
Isus and I made up too.
佐久間くんにしては生えてるんじゃない？
I had managed to become friends with Sancho as well.
絶対幸せになるんだよ。分かってるわ、エリー。
The two of them beamed at each other through their tears. After escaping the darkness that had plagued her for so long, this was where she had finally arrived. From the bottom of my heart, I was glad that that place was at my side.
みんなが祝ってくれてるのね。私たちの結婚を。
That goes to show how much they adore you. Used to say you only became a teacher because of the guilt you felt towards Eddie. But what you see here today is the result of all those years of your hard work.
こんなに嬉しそうなみんなの顔を見たら、そう思いたくなっちゃうわね。いろんなことがあったけれど、教師やっててよかったわ。
Regardless of personal feelings or her darkest thoughts, Kotohina had approached her role as a teacher with the utmost seriousness. That must be what she meant.
でも本当に教師をやっててよかったと思うのは、もっと先になるかもしれないわね。
What's that?
だってこれからはもっと幸せになるんだもの。あなたと一緒に。好きよ、つむぐくん。
Kotohina smiled with all her... Sorry. Kotohina smiled with all her heart. I knew these feelings that had been building up inside her for a very long time. But now, without anything to hold her back anymore, she displayed them proudly on her face for all the world to see. Quietly I thought to myself that this was where Kotohina's happiness was started anew. She's not tied to the past any longer. Reached Kotohina's ending. Alright. I know I said I was gonna do the joke Masura route as well.
俺のキューピッドがポンコツすぎて怖い。
But might as well talk right now about route rankings. Route rankings. And at the lowest rung, I sadly have to place Izuzu. Just because someone, the one that finished. If I actually counted Utas would be at the bottom. You know what? Let's count Utas. Utas at the bottom. Izuzu's after that. Like, Izuzu's great, but there's so many leaps in logic in that route that I just can't fucking take it seriously. Then comes Rinka's. And then I'm going to actually place Ail's and Kotohina's on the same rung. Actually, hold on, I forgot to rank Kururu's. Well, I guess if it's main girls, well, I guess let's say main girls is Uta, Izuzu, Rinka, Ale. Every character is, I would say, is Uta, Izuzu, Kururu, Rinka, Ale, Kotohina. Yes, I'm putting those two at the same rung. Because I feel like it's hard to separate the two, you know? So much of Kotohina's comes from Ales. So it's hard to actually, like, you know, tear them apart. So I'm putting them in the same rung. But yeah, next time we'll be moving on to fucking banging our homie, I guess. It should be a short one anyways, so there's that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you next time. Bye-bye.